welcome to the stream. Hi! Hello, Sim! Welcome! Today, this is our, monthly thing. Every end of the month, we'll be reading a story. This time, this theme of the month is Hans Christian Andersen's Tales. Hello! I got a collection right now. I got a collection and my god, just looking at the collection, he has a lot of tales and some are just questionable one way or the other. Yes! Thank you for the nice tome. Yes. I know all of the credits for the assets are down below in my panels, including this tome because I found it and it's so perfect for a storytelling stream. It's really perfect. Like, oh my god, it's so magical pa even. Kakatuwa. I think I have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories, but one of the stories has 7 parts, so it's gonna be a really, really long one. Now where is? Oh my god, I can't wait to tell this story. If you know Hans Christian Andersen, he made, I think, most modern Disney's Frozen. Frozen is one of his tales based on the Snow Queen. And if you notice, Hans Christian Andersen's name is on the characters' names as well. Hans in Frozen, the antagonist Hans. Christoph in Christian. Anna in Andersen. It's a nice play on the word on Hans Christian Andersen. I think the son part is in Olaf, but that's a stretch. Also, the reason why I'm kind of reading Hans Christian Andersen, since we're ending the month of November, right? And it's probably winter for a lot of you, but for me, it isn't. Again, being in the center of the earth doesn't have any weather whatsoever. It's just cave weather. It's just dark, dark and dark. or sometimes it just gets stupidly cold as well down here as well. I'll mail you some snow. Sure, mail it. I don't mind. I appreciate it because I haven't experienced snow in my 4,000 plus years in living in Earth. If it ends up as water, blame the delivery days. Oh yeah, we gotta. Isn't there a delivery protection option in deliveries? There has to be, isn't it? I'm pretty sure there has to be whenever you deliver something and something happens to it, you are gonna get some compensation for the delivery. And that's a thing here. I know there's delivery protection, so I'm not sure if snow would be counted or not. Which kind of reminds me, snow. Oh my gosh, there's this fake snow thing. I don't know what it exactly is. I know it's fake snow. When you put water, it turns to sort of snow, but not snow. I think the hard part is finding someone to go to the Earth Center. Yeah, that's the hard part because there's a lot of cave systems, but I don't think none of them is pretty deep enough to go to the center or to go where I'm at. So maybe just leave it somewhere. I'll let my familiar just probably take it from the surface. Maybe I'll just let the familiar do the whole job for it. Don't worry. They can handle it. Oh my god, nakakatuwa yung just thinking about it. Think about snow in general. It's kinda exciting because it's just frozen water. If frozen water is ice as well, but snow? I don't know. It's like ice. No, it's like ice. It's rain, but it's flaky. It's obvious that I haven't experienced snow in my life, so that's why I'm just is it snowy? Is it rainy? It's rainy ice flakes or something? But since, again, we're here to tell a story. Which is, I kinda have like, we'll start with the first story I found. Because it has like a questionable title. I just saw in the collection of Hans Christian Andersen's books, I saw this one story is called The Saucy Boy. I don't know why it's called The Saucy Boy. My mind went, excuse me? That's the name of the book? I mean the story, The Saucy Boy. Wait, let me just type it. The Saucy Boy. Oh my god, it's so... What? Why is it called The Saucy Boy? Yeah, it's like if that's like title from today, it's gonna hit differently. I know it probably means different during Hans Christian Andersen's time, but saucy right now means... Unless you're writing some questionable, it's so true. Oh my gosh, my mind went downhill when you saw this title. And I think it's a... Let me check, how long is this? Oh, it's a pretty short story. Why is it called saucy? I can't get over it's called saucy. I just hope the story itself isn't saucy. Isn't saucy as well. But with that, I'm sorry. Okay. We'll start The Saucy Boy. The Saucy Boy by Hans Christian Andersen. Once upon a time, there was an old poet. One of those right good old poets. One evening, as he was sitting at home, there was a terrible storm going on outside. The rain was pouring down, but the old poet sat comfortably in his chimney corner where the fire was burning and the apples were roasting. Okay, it's a guy. I'm sorry, I'm trying to... Wait, it's an old poet, right? They will... Sorry. There will not be a dry thread left on the poor people who are out in this weather, he said. Okay, the next one. Oh, open the door. I'm so cold and wet through, called a child outside. It was crying and knocking at the door whilst the rain was pouring down and the wind was rattling all the windows. My old man voice. Poor creature, said the poet. Oh my god, I forgot to do the old voice. And got up and opened the door. Before him stood a little boy. He was naked, and the water flowed from his long, fair locks. Okay, he was shivering with cold. If he had not been let in, he would have certainly perished in the storm. Wait, poor little thing, said the poet. It took him by the hand. Come with me. I will soon warm you. You shall have some wine and apple for you. Whoa, wait, what am I reading? Whoa, wait, what am I reading? Oh, shit. Whoa, what was this sentence? Wait. Come with me. I will soon warm you. You shall have some wine and an apple, for you are such a pretty boy. First, why is the old poet offering a damn wine for a child? I have concerns. Why? Why? You don't offer a child wine. You offer a child water. Sure, roasted apples are great, but not a wine. No, that's a child. Wait, where was I? Okay. And he was too. His eyes sparkled like two bright stars, and although the water flowed down from his fair locks, they still curled quite beautifully. Okay. He looked like an angel, but was pale with cold and trembling all over. In his hand, he held a splendid bow. What? But it had been entirely spoiled by the rain, and the colors of the pretty arrows had run into one another by getting wet. Why does a child have a bow? Okay. Why? The old man sat down by the fire and, taking the little boy on his knee, wrung the water out of his locks and warmed his hands in his own. And then he made him some hot spiced wine, which quickly revived him, so that with reddening cheeks, he sprang upon the floor and danced around the old man. Hey, it's pretty short. "You're a merry boy," said the latter. "What is your name?" "Oh, my name is Cupid. Cupid? He answered. "Don't you know me? There lies my bow. I shoot with that, you know." Okay. "Look, the weather is getting fine again. The moon is shining." "But your bow is spoiled," said the old poet. "That would be unfortunate," said the little boy, and taking it up and looking at it. "Oh, it's quite dry and isn't damaged at all. The string is quite tight. I'll try it." So, drawing it back, he took an arrow, aimed, and I'm sorry, and shot at the good old poet right at the heart. What? Wait. What? Wait. So, drawing it back, he took an arrow, aimed, and shot at the good old poet right in the heart? I'm sorry? So the boy's name is Cupid. And... What? What? Betrayal. This is absolutely betrayal. Okay, continue. "Do you see now that my bow was not spoiled?" he said, and loudly laughing, ran away. What a naughty boy to shoot the old poet like that, who had taken him into his warm room, had been so good to him, and had given him the nicest wine and the best apple. The good old man lay upon the floor crying. He was really shot in the heart. "Oh," he cried, "what a naughty boy Cupid is! I shall tell all the good children about this, so that they take care never to play with him, lest he hurt them." All the good children, both boys and girls, whom he told about this, were on their guard against wicked Cupid, but he deceives them all the same, for he is very deep. When the students come out of class, he walks by them with a book under his arm and wearing a black coat. They cannot recognize him. And then, if they take him by the arm, believing to be a student too, he sticks an arrow into the chest. What the fuck, Cupid? What? And when the girls go to church to be confirmed, he is amongst them too. In fact, he is always after people. He sits in the large chandelier in the theater and blazes away, so that people think it's a lamp, but they soon find out their mistake. That's his kind of... What do you mean that's kind of thing? What do you mean by that? That's his thing. He walks about in the castle garden and on the promenades. Yes, he once shot your father and your Excuse me? He once shot your father and your mother in the heart too. Just ask them. You will hear what they say. Oh, he is a bad boy, this Cupid. And you must never have anything to do with him, for he is after everyone. Just think. He even shot an arrow at old grandmother. But that was a long time ago. The wound has been healed, but such things are never forgotten. Now you know what a bad boy this wicked Cupid is. The end. I know Cupid puts arrows into the hearts of the hearts of anyone, but I did not expect like Cupid would just like outright say, outright just blends it and just like gotcha and just freaking pull up gotcha. That's it. I thought like Cupid, when Cupid sees two people in love, he's just he pews an arrow at them. Not this. Not this. Why is it called saucy? Where's the sauce in here? Where's the sauce? Where's the sauce? I don't see the sauce. Is the sauce? Wait, what does saucy mean? Saucy. Smart looking? No. Let's see. Maybe it was a mistranslation? Perhaps. Kasi when I search saucy boy, it's supposed to be sussy boy. Yeah, it should be the sussy boy. Because it's Cupid, and Cupid's just being one of them. Being an imposter, that's what they're saying. Being suspicious. All in all. So, anyone can just be Cupid. Just hidden among us. And little would you know. Pew! He shot your heart. And probably you'll fall in love. I don't know. Freaking Cupid sounds like a freaking Persona character. Like, I'll take your heart and then BOOM! I don't know! Why? Saucy? Really? But all I know Cupid is from... What was the name? Cupid and that Greek story. What's that other Greek story? Cupid and Psyche. Yun, Cupid and Psyche. Or Psyche. I don't know how to pronounce it. Cupid and Psyche. That's where I first known Cupid. And this story by Hans Christian Andersen. Well, to say the least, it's an okay start. A bit mischievous, a bit okay start because I thought Cupid outright killed the old man. Oh my god, what did the old man do? Just being nice. But well, that's our first story. It's an okay start. Again, okay start for okay. It's an okay now. Now, let's see for our next story. I have like a collection. We could go for the classics like Ugly Duckling or Emperor's New Suit? New Suit? Oh, the Emperor's New Clothes! Oh, they call it suit here. Okay. Actually, I have my thoughts on Cupid. Personally, as the Greek person, I think it's a Greek person. As the Greek mythology of Cupid, I'm okay with them or him, but I'm not fond of Cupid during the story of Cupid and Psyche. It's not exactly I'm not fond of the story with it because I don't know, man, because you gotta, I don't know, it's like blind love, literally. If I'm trying to remember the story from Cupid and Psyche, like it's literally blind love because the girl or Psyche isn't supposed to see Cupid and has to live with Cupid. I don't know. I'm just not fond I'm not fond of the romance between Cupid and Psyche. But Pygmalion and Galatea is a favorite for me because I don't know. It seems kind of funny but cute because it's like I think Pygmalion's the guy who made the statue, right? Yeah, Pygmalion. Pygmalion basically made his own dang waifu, and then was it Aphrodite was the one who made Galatea a real person because she finds the two of them cute. That's a funny part. Like, I made my own waifu, then just some god just made my waifu real, and then the end. That's it. It's a simple story. I like it, but it's stupid at the same time. And then it's like imagine making your own, like isn't there like dress up darling? I haven't watched Dress Up Darling, but yeah, like dressing up, making your own perfect anime waifu. But then I don't think it realistically it probably won't end well since I don't know, man. Just it's probably if there's gonna be an extended story about Pygmalion Galatea, the story might end tragically because I don't know. Maybe Pygmalion will realize, hey, I think having no tawag dun, someone perfect for them, literally perfect, it's probably not the best thing. I don't know. I like the story, but I really have a feeling if someone extended it would be tragedy. Just saying, I'm just stating my opinion out there. But without further ado, we could start with the Emperor's New Suit, or most commonly known as Emperor's New Clothes. I only remember the Disney. If you know Emperor's New Groove ba yun? Or is it Emperor's New Groove ba? Emperor's New Groove ba yun? Is this the movie? Ah yeah, is this the Emperor's New Groove? Yeah, I love the movie. Because it's a nice movie. It's a nice movie, but I'm surprised not a lot would probably know it. E. Wait, how do you spell emperor again? Freaking that's where to fix the story. Emperor. Wait, the emperor. Okay. The emperor's new suit. Oh my god, wait. There. Yes, I live for 4,000 plus years and I still can't spell. I'm bad. New soup? Dang! Emperor's New Soup? Maybe. Wait, let me just make this a bit smaller. Ayan, okay. This is a bit right-sizey. Yeah, it's the right size. Wait, I actually talk about soup. I ate soup earlier. It's called sinigang. What's the English of sinigang? Sinigang in English. Sinigang in English. It's okay. Oh, sinigang is I ate stew earlier. I ate stew. That's the English of sinigang. It's a super sour soup with bunch of vegetables and chicken. I hate it before stream, and it feels so great to eat something warm in a cold weather. Cold loose term because sometimes the weather decides to be stupidly hot as summer for some random times of the day. It's already November. Why is it hot as summer? Which kinda scares me because if it's stupidly hot already today, what more pa? If it's summer, I'm probably gonna be I'm gonna eat so much ice cream for that. Not the hot weather, it's my weakness. Oh my gosh. Hello Raiders, welcome. Thank you for the raids. Excuse it, thank you. Hi, my name is Velparia Dantalion. I'm the warden of the Hidden World. Oh, thank you. I stream a various of games. Horror is my favorite, but right now I do this some sort of end of the month stream where I read stories to my viewers. Right now, I'm reading Hans Christian Andersen. You're just in time actually for my second story. Oh, thank you for the follow, Sir Ghost Art, Arashiro, Squiggly Lineman, and Recycle Cabbage. Let me just give you a shout. Wait, is it shout out? Yay, thank you. Wait, let me just there. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much for the raid as well. Oh my gosh, we just started. Let's see. Now we're gonna start with the story. It's called The Emperor's New Suit. Again, once more commonly known as The Emperor's New Clothes, which kinda reminds me of The Emperor's New Groove from Disney. But again, I love Emperor's New Groove. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you, Crazy Mike, for the follow. Yeah, we're gonna talk about, stories. Popular or not popular. If you see the list here, we already finished the Saucy Boy. Our first story was a Saucy Boy. I I can't get over that title. Oh my god. Oh, thank you for the gifted sub, Tim. Thank you, thank you. Ahem. Now we're gonna start. Many years ago lived an emperor who thought so much of new clothes that he spent all his money in order to obtain them. His only ambition was to be always well dressed. He did not care for his soldiers, and the theater did not amuse him. The only thing, in fact, he thought of everything was to drive out and show a new suit of clothes. He had a coat for every hour of the day, and as one would say of a king, he is in his cabinet. Or, so one could say of him, the emperor is in his dressing room. The great city where he resided was very gay. This is the sentence, right? This is actually the sentence. Okay, let me just reread it again. Ahem. The great city where he resided was very gay. Every day, many strangers from all parts of the globe arrived. One day, 2 swindlers came to his city. They made people believe that they were weavers and declared they could manufacture the finest cloth to be imagined. Yeah, gay means happy. Gay means happy. Oh shoot! Where? Oh my gosh! I lost my page. Whoops! Whoa! Wait! Wait! I lost my page! Oh no! Oh shit! Wait! Whoops! Oh god! Where is the story? I lost the story. Oh my god! Where is it? Okay. Wait! Sorry. Scuff. Go in. I accidentally pressed F5. Oh my god! Okay. Now, where's the sentence? Okay, let's start with this. Let's start with the one day again. One day, 2 swindlers came to this city, and they made people believe that they were weavers and declared that they could manufacture the finest cloth to be imagined. Their colors and patterns, they said, were not only exceptionally beautiful, but their clothes made of their material possessed the wonderful quality of being invisible to any man who was unfit for his office or unpardonably stupid. What voice should I give to the emperor? What should I give to the emperor? Wait, I have. Oh my god, what voice kaya? Let's see. I guess I could try Valley Boy. I don't know what to give. Wait. I'm trying to think of a voice. Let's see. What should I give him? Maybe something. I guess I'll try a stupidly high voice. No, that's gonna be so shocking. Fuck. I'm trying. Okay, that must be like a wonderful cloth. Oh god, that's so stupid. Thought the emperor, if I were like to be dressed in this suit made of cloth, I should be totally able to find out which men in my empire were unfit for their places. And I could distinguish the clever from the stupid. I must have this cloth woven for me without a delay. Oh my god. That was too, oh my god. And he gave a large sum of money to the swindlers in advance that they should set work without any loss of time. They set up 2 looms and pretended to be very hard at work, but they did nothing whatever on the looms. They asked for the finest silk and the most precious gold cloth. All they got, they did away with and worked with empty looms till late at night. Who said this? I should be like, I should be very much like to know how they're getting one of the cloth. I thought the emperor, but he felt rather uneasy when he remembered that he, who was not fit for his office, could not see it. Perhaps he was of opinion that he had nothing to fear, yet he thought it was advisable to send someone else first to see how matters stood. Everyone in the town knew what a remarkable quality the stuff possessed, and all were anxious to see how bad or stupid their neighbors were. I I shall totally send my honest old minister to the weavers, thought the emperor. He can so judge the best stuff how the look. He can judge best how stuff the look. How stuff looks. For he is totally intelligent. Oh my gosh, and nobody understands his office better than he. This is. I hope you don't mind me having such. Oh my! I really don't. I really hope you don't mind me having this voice for the emperor. Hey, the good old minister went into the room where the swindlers sat before the empty looms. This is the old minister, right? Okay, old man voice again. Heaven persevere us, he thought, and opened his eyes wide. I cannot see anything at all. But he did not say so. Both swindlers requested him to come near and asked him if he did not admire the exquisite pattern and the beautiful colors, pointing to the empty looms. The poor old minister tried his very best, but he could not see. He could see nothing, for there was nothing to be seen. Oh dear, he thought. Can I be so stupid? I should have never thought so, and nobody must know it. Is it possible that I am not fit for my office? No, I cannot say that I was unable to see the cloth. Okay, so the swindler's is gonna speak next. I guess should I try the I'm gonna try the owo voice. I'm gonna try the owo. Don't trust anyone who says owo. That's why they're swindlers. They say owo. Okay. Now, have you got nothing to say? Oh? Said one of the swindlers while he pretended to be busy weaving. Okay. Oh, it is very pretty, exceedingly beautiful, replied the old minister, looking through his glasses. What a beautiful pattern! What brilliant colors! I shall tell the emperor. I like the cloth very much. We are pleased to hear that, said the two weavers, and described to him the colors and explained the curious pattern. The old minister listened attentively, that he might relate to the emperor what they said. And so he did. Next page. Now, the swindlers asked for more money, silk, and gold cloth, which they required for weaving. They kept everything for themselves, and not a thread came near the loom. But they continued, and hitero? What the frick is hitero? Hitero? How do you pronounce this? Hitero, wait. Hitero. How do you pronounce this? Wait, wait, sorry. Wait, I'm listening how to pronounce it. Wait, I am so sorry because I really don't get how to pronounce this thing. Go, wait. Let me just get how. Let's see. How do you pronounce hitherto? Hitherto? Hitherto. Okay, thank you, Crazy Mike. That's Let's see, hitherto. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now where was I? They kept everything for themselves, and not a thread came near the loom, but they continued, as hitherto, to work at the empty looms. Soon afterwards, the emperor sent another honest courtier to the weavers to see how they were getting on, and if the cloth was nearly finished. Like the old minister, he looked and looked, but could see nothing, as there was nothing to be seen. Is it not a beautiful piece of cloth? Asked the two swindlers, showing and explaining the magnificent pattern, which, however, did not exist. It's a guy. How do I voice this? Oh, no. I already have the old voice, the old voice, my narration voice. Let's see.
Okay, this one. I am not stupid,
said the man,
It is therefore a good appointment for which I am not fit. It is very strange. I must not let anyone know it.
And he praised the cloth, which he did not see, and expressed his joy at the beautiful colors and the fine pattern.
It is very excellent.
He said to the emperor. Everybody in the whole town talked about the precious cloth. At last, the emperor wished to see it himself while it was still on the loom. With a number of courtiers, including 2 who had already been there, he went to the 2 clever swindlers who now worked as hard as they could, but without using any thread. Oh wait. Okay, so since okay, how do I say this? It's 2 people talking. Is it I'm gonna use my normal voice. Is it not magnificent? Said the 2 statesmen who had been there before. Oh, they say the same time. Okay. Your Majesty must admire the colors and the pattern. And then they pointed to the empty looms, for they imagined the others could see the cloth.
Oh my god, what is this?
Thought the emperor.
I could not see anything at all. Ah, that's terrible. Am I totally stupid? Am I unfit to be the emperor? That would be indeed the totally most dreadful thing that could happen to me.
Okay. Wait. Is this the emperor saying?
Really?
He said, turning to the weavers. Wait. Who said really? Wait, who said this next line? Okay. I really don't know who said this line. Your cloth has our most gracious approval. And nodding contentedly and look at the empty loom, for he did not like to say that he saw nothing. All of his attendants who were with him looked, and although they could not see anything more than the others, they said to the emperor, "It is very beautiful." I'm clapping because I think that's what they're happening. Yeah, they're kind of clapping. And all advised him to wear the new magnificent clothes at a great procession which was soon to take place. "It is very magnificent, beautiful, excellent." One heard them say. Everyone seemed to be delighted, and the emperor appointed the 2 swindlers imperial court weavers. Next page. Oh, okay, this is the last page. The whole night, previous to the day on which the procession was to take place, the swindlers pretended to work and bore more than 16 candles so people should see that they were busy to finish the emperor's new suit. They pretended to take the last cloth from the loom and work it in the air with big scissors, sewed the needles without a thread, and said at last,
"The emperor's new suit is ready now."
The emperor and all his barons then came to the hall, and the swindlers held their arms up as if they held something in their hands and said,
"These are the trousers. This is the coat. Here's the cloak."
And so on.
They are all white as a cobweb, and one must feel as if one had nothing at all upon the body, but that's just the beauty of them.
God, the old voice. "Indeed," said all the courtiers, but they could not see anything, for there was nothing to be seen.
"Does it please your
Majesty?"
Does it please your Majesty now to graciously undress?"
said the swindlers.
"That we may assist your Majesty in putting on the new suit before the wide-looking glass?"
The emperor undressed, and the swindlers pretended to put the new suit upon him, one piece after the other. The emperor looked himself in the glass from side to side. Wait, who said this? Who said this line? Okay, if I don't know who says the line, I'll use my regular voice. "How well they look! How well they fit!" said all. "What a beautiful pattern! What fine colors! That is the magnificent suit of clothes!" The master of the ceremonies announced that the bearers of the canopy, which was to be carried in procession, were ready.
I'm like totally ready, said the emperor. Does not my suit fit me so marvelously? Then he turned once more to the looking glass, that people should think he admired his garments. The Chamberlains who carried the train stretched their hands into the ground as they lifted up the train, pretended to hold something in their hands. They did not like people to know that they could not see anything. The emperor marched in the procession under the beautiful canopy, and all who saw him in the street and out of the windows exclaimed, "Indeed, the emperor's new suit is incomparable! What long train he has! How well it fits him!" However, nobody wished to let the others know he saw nothing, for he would have been unfit for his office, or too stupid. Never the emperor's clothes were more admired. Okay, it's a child, so... But he has nothing on at all?
Said a little child at last. Okay, this one's a dad. This one's a dad. Okay. Good heavens! I can't do it. Okay, it's not my deep voice. Listen to the voice of an innocent child, said the father. And one whispered to the other what the child said. But he has nothing at all, cried at last of the whole people. That made a deep impression on the emperor, for it seemed to him that they were right. Where was I? But he thought to himself,
now I must bear up to the end.
And the chamberlains walked with greater dignity, as if they carried a train which did not exist. And that, my friends, ends the story of the emperor's new suit. Well, that's like one story down. Great! I hope... Oh god, my voice acting was great. I'm trying to give a lot of the characters different voices, which I think I like to think I probably nailed it. Probably. I think. I mean, the hardest one was... Okay, the hard voices were the OO voice, and the even just the father had one line. That was crazy. That was like deep for me. That was really deep for me. Now, my thoughts on the emperor's new clothes. I mean, new suit. You know, when they said emperor's new suit, I really thought of those corporate modern suits. Like, oh, they're just wearing suit. That's it. That's what the emperor's wearing. But like, it's like a lesson. You can't just easily trust anyone who just says, they can make something, but I don't. But it's invisible to the naked eye. As they say, seeing is believing. Because I think, you know, if you see someone said, "Oh, look, it's invisible," you just can't see it because you dumb. No. Other than that, I think, what could be the lesson here? Maybe a lot of lessons here, to be exact. Like, I forgot there was like another lesson I know about this. Let's see. Ano yung isang lesson maganda? It's like, you would lie just to protect your, your image. That's one thing until someone would point it out. I think. Wait, let me just drink some water. I have like seen a third story na, but before we start the third story, I just wanna share my thoughts on this first. The one I read with the Emperor's new suit is they didn't mention about It didn't mention how there was like a gathering. The emperor held freaking festivals for his clothes. That's the one where I read it, but I think it was like a really old a different version of the story, probably a more summarized version. Since like the first paragraph, like, oh, the emperor held so many festivals in each of his clothes. Again, I never seen that. So it was a nice time to see like a different version of this. Yeah, different version of this story. Which it's it's a nice story. It's a nice story. It's a nice story. I like it. I like it. Now let's see for our next story. Oh my god. There's like let's see. I want to try something that I haven't known or read before. Let's see. Oh, this one sounds nice. Oh wait, no, I know this one. This one sounds nice though. Wait, not exactly nice. This has a questionable title. Okay, this one has a title called The Child in the Grave. I don't think... Has anyone actually heard the Child in the Grave story? Because I clearly didn't. Let's see. Ano title? The Child in the Grave. Child in the Grave. Yeah, it's new to you. Okay, same. It's new to me. I never heard it before. So we'll be exploring this new story together. I don't know why is it named like this. And let me see it's not that. It's like medium length-ish, but not so long. It's not that long, so it's just right. It's probably as long as the Empress New Suit. Not I know. So as I love to like tackle new stories like this. Since like Hans Christian Andersen's stories were mostly known for, Little Mermaid, Emperor's New Suit, Princess and the Pea, Thumbelina, and the Snow Queen, the Ugly Duckling, and so on. Okay, let me just get the story. There we go. The Child in the Grave. This is like our third story. Ooh, we did an R. We tackled sorta an R-ish. We tackled like 3 stories. Oh my god. And they're all relatively short to be... They're like shorter than like our last storytelling stream, the Edgar Allan Poe one. I think we had like 7 or 8 stories. And one is long. I think one is long. After the Child in the Grave, I wanna tackle the long story. The really, really long one. Let's see, because I know the movie, but not the story. So man. Yeah, this one. Okay. We'll tackle this one and then... Okay, there. The Child in the Grave. Okay. Just zoom in because, oh my gosh. I can't see with this small text. Let's see, the Child in the Grave. The Child in the Grave. There. There, the Child in the Grave. It was a very sad day. Every heart in the house felt the deepest grief. For the youngest child, a boy 4 years old, the joy and hope of his parents was dead. Damn, already someone died. 2 daughters, the elder of whom was to be confirmed, still remained. They were both good, charming girls, but the lost child always seems the dearest, and when it is the youngest and a son, it makes the trial still more heavy. The sisters mourn as young hearts can mourn, and were especially grieved at the sight of their parents' sorrow. The father's heart was bowed down, but the mother sunk completely under deep grief. Day and night, she had attended to the sick child, nursing and carrying it in her bosom as a part of herself. She could not realize the fact the child was dead and must be laid in a coffin in the ground. She thought God could not take her little darling from... Oh my god. She thought God could not take her darling little one from her. And when it did happen, not... Oh my god. Oh my god, we're already... Thank you for the hydrate, Aras Hero. Thank you for the hydrate. Wait. Thank you. Now, where was I? And when it did happen, notwithstanding her hopes and belief, there could be no more doubt on the subject, she said in her feverish agony. Okay, so it's the mom. So I will be dramatic. Does God... Sorry. God does not know it. He He has hard-hearted, ministering spirits of the earth, who do according to their own will, and heed not a mother's prayers. And thus in her grief, she fell away from her faith in God, and dark thoughts arose in her mind respecting death and a future state. She tried to believe that man was but dust, and that with his all life... No? What? She tried to believe that man was but dust, and that with his life all existence ended. But these doubts were no support to her, nothing on which she could rest, and she sunk into fathomless depths of despair. In her darkest hours, she ceased to weep, and thought not of the young daughters who were still left with her. The tears of her husband fell on her forehead, but she took no notice of him. Her thoughts were with her dead child, her whole existence seemed to wrap up in the remembrance of the little one and every innocent word it had uttered. Like literally the first paragraph, oh my god. Okay then. For the day of this little child's funeral came. 4 nights previously the mother had not slept, but in the morning twilight of this day, she had sunk from weariness into deep sleep. In the meantime, the coffin was carried to a distant room and there laid down. She might not bear the blows of the hammer, and she awoke. She wanted to see the child, and her husband, with tears, said, "We have closed the coffin. It was necessary to do so." When was God so hard to me? How can I expect men to be better? She said with groans and tears. The coffin was carried to the grave, and the disconsolate mother sat with her young daughters. She looked at them, but saw them not, for her thoughts were far away from the domestic hurt. She gave herself up to her grief, and tossed her to and fro as the sea tosses a ship without compass or rudder. So the day of the funeral passed away, and similar days followed of dark, wearisome pain. With tearful eyes and mournful glances, the sorrowing daughters and the afflicted husband looked upon her who would not hear their words of comfort. And indeed, what comforting words could they speak when they themselves were so full of grief? It seemed as if she would never know again sleep. It seems as if she would never again know sleep. And yet it would have been her best friend, one who had strengthened her body and poured peace into her soul. They at last persuaded her to lie down, and then she would lie as still as if she slept. One night, her husband listened, and often as he did, to her breathing. He quite believed that she had at length found rest and relief in sleep. He folded his arms and prayed, and soon sunk himself into healthful sleep. Therefore, he did not notice that his wife arose, threw on her clothes, and glided silently from the house, to go where the thoughts constantly lingered, to the grave of her child. She passed through the garden, to a path across a field that led to a churchyard. No one saw her as she walked, nor did she see anyone, for her eyes were fixed upon the one object of her wanderings. It was a lovely starlight night in the beginning of September. The air was mild and still. She entered the churchyard and stood by a little grave, which looked like a large nosegay of fragrant flowers. She sat down and bent her head low over the grave, as if she could see her child through the earth that covered him. Her little boy, whose smile was so vividly before her, and gentle expression whose eyes, even on his sickbed, she could not forget. How full of meaning that glance had been, as she leaned over him, holding in hers the pale hand which she had no longer strength to raise. As she sat by his little cot, so now she sat by his little grave, and there she could weep freely, and her tears fell upon it.
Oh, thank you for the posture check, Aranea. Thank you. And stretch. Thank you. It feels nice to stretch.
Wait, turn on the light. It's so damn dark already. Wait, the light. Wait. Okay, now it's on. Now my lights are on. Okay, how do I voice this? This sounds formal. I guess I can't do a deep voice. Maybe I can do a high one.
Thou wouldst gladly. Wait,
The fuck? No, that's not a good voice. Maybe this one. No. Maybe no. Thou wouldst glad. Okay, sorry. Thou wouldst gladly go down and be with thy child, said a voice quite close to her. A voice that sounded so deep and clear that it went to her heart. She looked up, and by her side stood a man wrapped in a black cloak, with a hood closely drawn over his face. But her keen glance could distinguish the face under the hood. It was stern yet awakened confidence. The eyes beamed with youthful radiance.
Down to my child?
She repeated. The tones of despair and entreaty sounded in the words. Darest thou to follow me? Asked the form. I am Death. Okay, Death's here. She bowed her head in token of assent. Then, suddenly, it appeared as if all stars were shining with radiance of the full moon on the many-colored flowers that decked the grave. The earth that covered it was drawn back like a floating drapery. She sunk down and the spectre covered her with a black cloak. Night closed and around her, the night of death, she sank deeper than the spade of the sexton could penetrate, till the churchyard became a roof above her. Then, the cloak was removed. She had found herself in a large hall of wide-spreading dimensions, which were there with a subdued light, like twilight raining, and in a moment, her child appeared before her, smiling and more beautiful than ever. With a silent cry, she pressed him to her heart. A glorious strain of music sounded now distant, now near. Never she had listened to such tone as this. They came from beyond the dark curtain which separated the reaches of death from the land of eternity.
My sweet, darling mother,
she heard the child said. It was well known, the loved voice, and a kiss followed kiss in boundless delight. And the child pointed to the dark curtain.
There is nothing so beautiful on earth as it is in here, mother. Do you not see them all? Oh, it is happiness indeed.
But the mother saw nothing of what the child pointed out, only the dark curtain. She looked with earthly eyes, but could not see as the child saw. He whom had... I'm so sorry. I get tongue-tied. He whom God has called to be with himself. She could hear the sounds of music, but she heard not the words, in the word in which she has to trust.
I can fly now, mother,
said the child.
I can fly with other happy children in the presence of the Almighty. I would fain...
Is that the word? Is that fain? Okay.
I would fain fly away now. But if you weep for me as you're weeping now, you may never see me again. And yet, I would go so gladly. May I not fly away? And you will come to me soon, will you not, dear mother?
Oh, stay! Stay! Implored the mother. Only one moment more. Only once more that I may look upon thee and kiss thee and press thee into my heart. Then she kissed and fondled her child. Suddenly, her name was called from above. What could it mean? Her name uttered in a plaintive voice.
Hearest thou?
Said the child.
It is my father who calls thee.
And in a few moments, deep sighs were heard. as of children weeping.
They are my sisters,
Said the child.
Mother. Surely you have not forgotten about them.
And then she remembered those she left behind, and a great terror came over her. She looked around her at the dark night. Dim forms flitted by. She seemed to recognize some of them as they floated through the regions of death towards the dark curtain, where they vanished. Would her husband and her daughters flit past? No. Their sighs and lamentations still sounded from above. She had nearly forgotten them for the sake of him who was dead.
Mother, now the bells of heavens are ringing,
Said the child.
Mother, the sun is going to rise.
An overpowering light streamed in upon her. The child had vanished, and she was being borne upwards. All around her became cold. She lifted her head and saw that she was lying in the churchyard on the grave of her child. The Lord, in a dream, had been a guide to her feet and a light to her spirit. She bowed her knees and prayed for forgiveness. She had wished to keep back a soul from its mortal flight. She had forgotten her duties towards the living who were left her. And when she had offered this prayer, her heart felt lighter. The sun burst forth. Her head, a little bird caroled his song, and the church bell sounded for early service. Everything around her seemed holy, and her heart chastened. She acknowledged the goodness of God. She acknowledged the duty she had to perform, and eagerly she returned home. She bent over her husband, who was still warm. Her warm, devoted kiss awakened him, and words of heartfelt love fell from his lips words of heartfelt love fell from the lips of both. Now she was gentle and strong as a wife can be, and from her lips came the words of faith.
Whatever he doeth
is right and best. Then her husband asked, From whence hast thou all at once derived such strength and comforting faith? And she kissed him and her children and said,
came from God through my child in the grave.
You know, that's the end of the story. Yeah, that's the actual end of the story. It sounds kinda sad. Yeah, it sounds sad though. Like, I did not expect like the story would go through this direction. Grief and death of the mom losing a child. Yeah, that was dark. Yeah, I was like, oh, so, yeah, same. That was darker than I expected. The first paragraph already hit me like a truck. Like, oh my god. I did grief. Just grief. Just grief, man. Just grief. I feel bad. Like the mom was so in grief. She forgot she was the living. Like she, oh my god. Yeah, it had a pretty good message too. Dang. Like, you got, I like this one. I like the child in the grave. I like the child in the grave. A really sad story, but good message. Good message. It's really good message. I like it. I like it. Like grief and all, and then ooh, I get soft with those like that. It's a bittersweet ending. Like the child died, but the mother has to remember her duties as well. Like it's okay to grieve. It's okay to grieve the loss of your loved ones, but it's hard to keep go. It's really hard to we can say not exactly move on. Not exactly move on though. It's not exactly move on. Keep going. But I think the last message was the best. Where was it? It It was somewhere in the last paragraph. It was somewhere in the last. What is the last paragraph? Like the mom, due to her grief, forgotten everything. She forgot to sleep, forgot to do this and that. Damn. I love it. I love the message. I love it. Okay, this is a story from Hans Christian Andersen. A story of grief. Great story. Good shit. Because like the next story I have in mind, it's way longer. It's super long. Like really long is an understatement. It's have you ever heard of Frozen? Have you ever heard of Frozen? Because yeah, that's like the next story. Let's get to the next story. Oh my god. Jeez. Whoa, this wait. How many pages is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay then. Yep, it's basically the Snow Queen, but again, the Snow Queen is divided into 7 stories. Oh! Hello, Wafusef! Thank you for the follow. Thank you. We're reading Hans Christian Andersen stories. We just wrapped up the last story, which is The Child in the Grave. Highly recommend it. Highly good story. It's a good story. I recommend it. But now with that, let's see. It's yes, the Snow Queen is in 7 stories. I guess that's our next story, the Snow Queen. Now wait, I'll put 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 4. The snow. Fuck. Oh my god. There. Why 4 to 11, you ask? Again, the Snow Queen has 7 stories. So it's like a 7-parter. So I think, yeah, it has 7 stories. So this is like where Frozen was based on, if I remember. Yeah, this was the story where Frozen was based on. And since Christmas is, I mean, not exactly Christmas, December is coming, might as well read a fitting weather story. I haven't read the Snow Queen at all. Like, I only know the movie Frozen, but not the Snow Queen to be exact. So there's that. Oh my god. Okay, so the Snow Queen. Wait. I should like. Wait. No, wait. Let me just fix the list like this. Let me fix the list like this. Wait, I'll fix the list so that it will be easier to see. The Snow Queen. Then I'll put number 4 under the Snow Queen. Oh my god. What's our first story? Wow, story the first. That's that actually story the first. I think I should move I should move myself. Wait. I'm gonna move a bit myself to the left. And the book as well. My magical book. There we go. I guess this is here. I didn't exactly. Again, I hope you like this comfy storytelling streams, because I do this at least every end of the month ish. So next month, at the end of September, I'll be doing another storytelling stream. Let's see, where's that story? Oh my god. Where is it? I have so many shit open. Wait. Okay, the Snow Queen in 7 stories. I actually enjoy these storytelling streams. I hope you all enjoy. It's like after the hectic month of probably horror games, shooting games, stressful games.
We're all gonna chill down and listen for a story. 'Cause why not?
Okay.
Why not?
I kinda have like a catalog of sort of stories ready to say. I try to fit the stories depending on the month. So since November is almost December, so I try to fit in with this. Last month was Edgar Allan Poe because of Halloween. That's why it's Halloween. I think Edgar Allan Poe fits the storytelling theme of the month. So hopefully this one fits because November, December's gonna come up, and then yada. Anyway, I have the story of the first from the Snow Queen. Oh wow, the first. Don't remind me. We don't talk about what happened in Edgar Allan Poe's story. Shit! No, not the black cat. You reminded me about the black cat story. Oh my god. That was just horrifying. The black cat was actually the most horrifying story in the catalog I've read from Edgar Allan Poe. To be fair, it fits since Halloween, but holy shit! Holy shit, the story was something else entirely. I did not expect that. You even use cheese emote for that. Shit. Okay, let's see. The story of the first. Okay, let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 7 stories. The first story is pretty short. It's just one entire paragraph, so I might accidentally repeat some words because oh my gosh, could you not cut the paragraph? Okay. Story the first. Sophia the first. Which describes a looking glass in the broken fragments. You must attend to the commencement of this story. For when we get to the end, we shall know more than we do now about a very wicked hobgoblin. He was one of the very worst, for he was a real demon. One day, when he was in a merry mood, he made a looking glass, which had the power of making everything good or beautiful that reflected in it almost shrink to nothing, while everything that was worthless and bad looked increased in size and worse than ever. The most lovely landscape appeared like a boiled spinach, and the people became hideous and looked as if they stood on their heads and had no bodies. What? Wait, ano? The most lovely landscape appeared like a boiled spinach, and the people became hideous and looked as if they stood on their heads and had no bodies. You know what? We're in for a wild ride then, I guess. Their countenances were so distorted that no one could recognize them. Even one freckle on their face appeared to spread over the whole of the nose and mouth. The demon said this was amusing. When a good or pious thought had passed through the mind of anyone, it was misrepresented in the glass. Then, how the demon laughed. I'm gonna highlight this, nahililito ako. How the demon laughed at his cunning invention. All who went to the demon's school, where he kept a school, talked everywhere of the wonders they had seen, and declared that people could do now, for the first time, see what the world and mankind were really like. They carried the glass about everywhere, till there was not a land nor a people who had not been looked through this distorted mirror. They wanted even to fly it up to the heaven to see the angels, but the higher they flew, the more slippery the glass became, and they could scarcely hold it, till the last slipped from their hands, fell to the earth, and broke into millions of pieces. But now, the looking glass caused more unhappiness than ever, for some of the fragments were not so large as a grain of sand, and they flew about the world in every country. When one of these tiny atoms flew into a person's eye, ow! It struck there unknown to him. From that moment, he saw everything through a distorted medium, or he could see only the worst side of what he looked at, for even the smallest fragment retained the same power which had belonged to the whole mirror. Some few persons even got a fragment of the looking glass in their hearts, and this was very terrible, for their hearts became cold as a lump of ice. Few of the pieces were so large they could be used as window panes. It would have been a sad thing to look our friends through them. Other pieces were made into spectacles. This was dreadful for those who wore them, for they could see nothing either rightly or justly. All of this, the wicked demon laughed until his sides shook. It tickled him to see how much mischief he had done, and there was still a number of these little fragments of glass floating in the air. And now you shall hear what happened with one of them. So it's a prologue. This is a build-up. The first story is a build-up of the rest of the story. Yeah, that's actually the story of the first. I think the first. What an odd name for a story. Story the first is like a world building type of story. Would like settle the grounds. What kind of world the Snow Queen is set in. Not bad. I like it. I like immediate world building from the ground up. Okay. And at the end of the story, we'll be experiencing one of the glass shards. What happens to one of the glass shards that broke off from the looking glass? Wait, let me just put in the second story. This is gonna be a long list. Oh my god, just by this alone. Okay, so the world building is done. The story the first. I'm going to fifth story, number 5. A little boy and a little girl. A little boy and a little girl. Wait, let me just enter this. Here we go. I should like move the list again. The list is gonna get longer. Bet. Okay. So okay. Now we're in the fifth story. Okay, where is that? Okay, the fifth story is it's a bit medium length. Let me drink again. Okay. A little boy and a little girl. In a large town, full of houses and people, there is not a room for everybody to even have a little garden. Therefore, they're obligated to be satisfied with a few flowers in flower pots. In one of these large towns, lived 2 poor children who had a garden something larger and better than a few flower pots. They were not brother and sister, but they loved each other as much as if they had been. Their parents lived opposite to each other in 2 garrets, where roofs of neighboring houses projected towards each other and the water pipe ran between them. In each house was a little window so that anyone could step across the gutter from one window to another. The parents of these children had each a large wooden box in which they cultivated kitchen herbs for their own use, and a little rose bush in each box, which grew splendidly. Now, after a while, the parents decided to place these 2 boxes across the water pipe so that they reached from one window to another and looked like 2 banks of flowers. Sweet peas drooped over the boxes, and the rose bush shot forth long branches, which were trained around the windows and clustered together, almost like a triumphal arc of leaves and flowers. The boxes were very high, and the children knew that they must not climb upon them without permission, but they were often, however, allowed to step up together and sit upon their little stools under the rose bushes, or play quietly. In winter, all this pleasure came to an end, for the windows were sometimes quite frozen over, but then they would warm copper pennies on the stove and hold the warm pennies against the frozen plain. There would be very soon a little round hole through which they could peep, when the soft eyes of the little boy and girl would beam through the hole at each window, and they look at each other. Their names were Kay and Gerda. I hope I pronounced their names right. Kay, Gerda. In summer, they could be together with one jump from the window, but in winter, they had to go up and down the long staircase and out through the snow before they could meet. Okay, so... how do I voice this? They're like... Wait, how do I voice the 2 kids? Wait, I'm thinking. Okay. Wait, there's an old woman. See? There are the white bees swarming, said Kay's old grandmother one day when it was snowing.
Have they have a queen bee?
Asked the little boy, for he knew the real bees had a queen. To be sure they have, said the grandmother. She is flying there where the swarm is thickest. She is the largest of them all, and never remains on earth, but flies up to the dark clouds. Often at midnight, she flies through the streets of the town and looks in at the windows. Then, the ice freezes on the place into wonderful shapes that look like flowers and castles.
Yes, I have seen them,
said both the children. Then they knew it must be true.
And the Snow Queen come in here?
Asked the little girl.
Only let her come,
said the boy.
I'll set her on stove and she shall melt.
Damn, the boy really, oh my god, damn. Hey, not joking around, saying that I wanna melt the queen. Holy shit. Then the grandmother smoothed his hair and told him some more tales. One evening, when little Kay was at home, half undressed, he climbed on the chair by the window and peeped through the little hole. A few flakes of snow were falling, and one of them, rather larger than the rest, alighted on the edge on one of the flower boxes. Oh god, let me drink water again. Let me drink water again. Okay. Sorry, I get thirsty. Oh my gosh, it's a bit hot. Bit hot again. Can I drink? Okay. You know, where was I? A few flakes of snow were falling, and one of them, rather larger than the rest, alighted on the edge of one of the flower boxes. The snowflake grew larger and larger, till at last it became a figure of a woman. Oh! Dressed in garments of white gauze, which looked like millions of starry snowflakes linked together. She was fair and beautiful, but made of ice, shining and glittering ice. She was still alive, and her eyes sparkled like bright stars, but there was neither peace nor rest in her glance. She nodded towards the window and waved her hand. The little boy was frightened and sprang from the chair, and at the same moment, it seemed as if a large bird flew by the window. On the following day, there was a clear frost, and soon came the spring. The sun shone, and the young green leaves burst forth. The swallows built their nest, windows were open, then the children sat once more in the garden on the roof, high above all the other rooms. How beautiful the roses blossomed this summer! And the little girl had learned a hymn in which the roses were spoken of. Then she thought of her own roses, and sang to the little boy, and he sang too. Wait.
Roses bloom and cease to be, but we shall see the Christ child see.
Then the little ones held each other by hand and kissed the roses, and looked at the bright sunshine, and poked as if Christ child was there. Christ child was there. Those were splendid summer days. How beautiful and fresh it was out among the rose bushes, which seemed as if they would have never leave off blooming. One day, Kay and Gerda sat looking at the beautiful pictures of animals and birds, and then as the clock in the church tower struck 12, Kay said,
"Oh, something has struck my heart."
And soon after,
"There's something in my eye."
Oh shit! Oh shit! Kay got hit by the glass! Oh no! Shit, he got hit by the glass in the first story! Wait! Won't his heart turn to ice? And then won't he see the evil in other people? Oh shit! No! Kay! Shit. Oh no, shit, he's on borrowed time. Oh no! The little girl put her arm around his neck and looked into his eye, but she could see nothing. Oh my god, Kay!
"I think it's gone,"
he said, but it was not gone. It was one of those bits of the looking glass, that magic mirror of which we have spoken. I knew it! The ugly glass, which made everything great and good, all appear small and ugly, while all was wicked and bad became more visible, and every little fault could be plainly seen. Poor little Kay had also received a small grain in his heart, which very quickly turned to a lump of ice. He felt no more pain, but the glass was there still.
Why do you cry?
He said at last.
It makes you look ugly. There's nothing the matter with me now. Oh, see!
Oh, see? He cried suddenly.
That rose is worm-eaten. This one is quite crooked. After all, they're all ugly roses, just like the box in which they stand.
Kay! No! Kay got affected by the Oh shit! And then, he kicked the boxes with his foot and pulled off the 2 roses. Kay! Kay, my boy, got affected by the dang glass! Oh no! Shit! Kay!
Kay, what are you doing?
Cried the little girl, and then he saw how frightened she was. He tore off another rose and jumped through his own window away from little Gerda. And she afterwards brought out a picture book. He said,
"It was only fit for babies in long clothes."
And when grandmother told any stories, he would interrupt her with "but," or when he could manage it, he would get behind her chair, put on a pair of spectacles, and imitate her very cleverly or to make people laugh. By and by, he began to mimic the speech and gait of persons of the street. All that was peculiar or disagreeable in a person who would imitate directly, and people said, that boy will be very clever. He has remarkable genius. But it was a piece of glass in his eye, the coldness in his heart that made him act like this. For he would even tease little Gerda, who loved him with all her heart. His games too were quite different. They were not so childish. On winter's day when it snowed, he brought out a burning glass and held out the tail of his blue coat and let snowflakes fall upon it.
"Look at this glass, Gerda,"
said he, and she saw how every flake of snow was magnified and looked like a beautiful flower or glittering star.
"Is it not clever?"
said Kay.
"And much more interesting than looking at real flowers. There's not a single fault in it, and the snowflakes are quite perfect. They'll begin to melt."
Soon after, Kay made his appearance with large thick gloves, with a sledge at his back. He called upstairs to Gerda.
"I've got to leave and go to the great square where the other boys play and ride."
And away he went. In the great square, the boldest among boys would often tie their sledges into the country people's carts and go with them in a good way. This was the capital. But while they were amusing themselves, and Kay was with them, a great sledge came by. It was painted white, and in it sat someone wrapped in a rough white fur and wearing a white cap. The sledge drove twice round the square, and Kay fastened his own little sledge in it, so that when he went away, he followed it. He went faster and faster, right through the street, and then the person who drove turned around and nodded pleasantly to Kay, just as if they were acquainted with each other. But whenever Kay wished to loosen the sledge, the driver nodded again. So Kay sat still, and they drove out through the down gate. Then the snow began to fall so heavily that the little boy could not see his hands breadth before him, but they still drove on. And suddenly, he loosened the cord so that the large sled might go on without him, but it was no use. His little carriage held fast, and away they went like the wind. He called out loudly, but nobody heard him, while the snow beat upon him and the sledge flew outwards. Every now and then it gave a jump as if it was going hedges and ditches. The boy was frightened, and to say a prayer, he could remember nothing but the multiplication table. The snowflakes became larger and larger, till they appeared like great white chickens. At all once, they sprang on one side, and the great sledge stopped. The person who had drove it risen up, the fur and the cap,
which made of entirely of snow, fell off, and he saw the lady, tall and white. It was the Snow Queen. "We have driven well," said she, "but why do you tremble? Here, dip into my warm fur." Then she seated him beside her in her sledge, and she wrapped the fur around him. He felt as if he were sneaking to a snowdrift. "Are you still cold?" she asked as she kissed him on the forehead. The kiss was colder than ice. It went through his heart, which was already almost a lump of ice. He felt as if he were going to die, but only for a moment. He soon seemed quite well again, and he did not notice the cold around him. "My sledge! Don't forget my sledge!" was his first thought, and then he looked and saw it was bound fast to one of the white chickens, which flew behind him with the sledge on its back. The Snow Queen kissed little Kay again, and by this time, he had forgotten little Gerda, his grandmother, and all at home. "Now, you must have no more kisses," she said, "or I should kiss you to death." Kay looked at her, and saw she was so beautiful. He could not imagine a more lovely and intelligent face. She did not now seem to be made of ice, and when he had seen her through his window, and she had nodded to him, in his eyes, she was perfect, and she did not feel at all afraid. He told her all he could about mental arithmetic, as far as fractions, that he knew the number of square miles and total inhabitants of the country. And she always smiled that he thought he knew. Tamba? She always smiled that he thought he didn't know enough yet. And she looked around at the vast expanse, and she flew higher and higher with him upon a black cloud while the storm blew and howled, as if we were singing old songs. They flew over woods and lakes, over sea and land. Below them roared the wild wind. The wolves howled and the snow crackled. Over them flew the black screaming crows, and above all shone the moon, clear and bright. So Kay passed through long the winter's night, and by day he slept at the feet of the Snow Queen. Did Kay just got kidnapped? I think he got kidnapped. That's like the end of the 5th story. Poor Kay got kidnapped. Oh my god. And then I'm actually seeing the Frozen inspiration in it. Like, diba the sled scene in the little boy and the little girl reminded me of that time, that one scene in Frozen where Anna and Kristoff were on a sled, and they were like being chased by wolves. I think that was the reference, or am I just stretching, or am I just grasping onto straws? I'm probably grasping onto straws. Probably. But I'm starting to see the parts of Frozen in Snow Queen. I'm starting to see it. Now, the next story, let me just add the next story of the Snow Queen, number 6. What's the 6? Wait, let me do the 6. The Flower Garden. Okay, wait, let me just type the title. Wait a minute. Wait. Just that title. Wait, the title. Wait, ano to? The Flower Garden. Flower Garden of the Moon Who Could Conjure. Of the woman who could conjure. That's a very long title. Let me just move this up. Oh my god. Wait. Move up. There we go. Okay. The saucy. Okay, so we're gonna start with the next one after I just took another drink of water. Wait. While we're done, how's everyone? Hope you're chilling. We're just chilling all in the story, we're just vibing with the stories as well. Oh my god.
Well, I think this feels like more of an sorta epic-ish kind of story. It feels like an epic-ish story. Oh, thank you, Arashiro. Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you for the hydrate team. Thank you. Thank you. We're all about story time. Yes! Don't forget to hydrate. Thank you. Nice, with story time, with story time streams, hydration is the biggest important factor. I'd be super talking so many long paragraphs at a time. Oh my god. Now I hope you all feel cozy as well. You know, just being comfortable, cozy, and all that jazz. I hope my mic isn't too soft as well, or the music isn't too loud. Because, oh my god. Holy shit. Okay, I'm just checking the, Okay, we're in the, third story no? We're in the, third story. We're in the third story. 3 out of 7. Once we finish the Snow Queen, I'm gonna 4-11 this Snow Queen because I think I'm gonna run out of space if I just continued like this. But without further ado, we're gonna, where the frick is that story again? Oh my god, nasan na yun? Ayan. Now, the third story, the flower garden and of the woman who could conjure. Conjure what? Flowers? Still, poor Kay though. Ahem. Oh wait, let me just... okay. But how fared little Greta during Kay's absence? What had become of him? No one knew? No, nor could anyone give the slightest information, excepting the boys, who said that he tied his sledge to another very large one, which had driven through the street, out at the town gate. Nobody knew where it went. Many tears were shed for him, and little Gerda wept bitterly for a long time. She said she knew he must be dead, that he was drowned in a river flowed close by the school. Oh, indeed, those long winter days were dreary, but at last spring came, and with warm sunshine, Kay is dead and gone. God damn, okay then, first paragraph. Kay's dead. Or what little Gerda says. I don't believe it, said the sunshine. He's dead and gone, she said to the sparrows. We don't believe it, they replied, and at last, little Gerda began to doubt herself. I will put on my new red shoes, she said one morning, those that Kay has never seen, and I will go down the river and ask for him. It was quite early when she kissed her old grandmother, who was still asleep. Then she put on her red shoes and went quite alone out of the town gates towards the river. Is it true that you have taken my little playmate from me? She said to the river. I will give you my red shoes if you will give him back to me. And it seems as if the nymphs nodded her in a strange manner. She shook off her red shoes, which she liked better than anything else, and threw them both into the river, but they fell near a bank. When the little waves carried them back to the land, just as the river would not take her what she loved the best, because they could not give her back little Kay. But she thought the shoes had not been thrown far enough. Then she crept the boat that lay among the reeds, and threw the shoes again from the farther end of the boat into the water. But it was not fastened, and her movements sent it gliding away from the land. When she saw this, she hastened to reach the end of the boat. But before she could do it, it was more than a yard from the bank, and drifting away faster than ever. Then, little Gerda was very much frightened and began to cry. But no one heard it except the sparrows. They could not carry her to land, but they flew along by the shore and sang as if to comfort her. Here we are! Here we are! The boat floated with the stream. Little Gerda sat quite still with only her stockings on her feet. The red shoes floated after her, but she could not reach them because the boat kept so much in advance. The banks on each side of the river were very pretty. There were beautiful flowers, old trees, sloping fields in which cows and sheep were grazing,
but not a man to be seen. Perhaps the river will carry me to little Kay, thought Gerda. And then she became more cheerful and raised her head and looked at the beautiful green banks. And so the boat sailed for hours. At length she came to a cherry orchard. I hope I pronounced that right. In which stood a small red house with strange and red and blue windows. It also had a thatched roof. And outside were two wooden soldiers that presented arms to her as she sailed past. Gerda called out for them, for she thought they were alive. But of course, they did not answer. As the boat drifted near to the shore, she saw what they really were. Then, Gerda called still louder. There came a very old woman out of the house, leaning on a crutch. She wore a large hat to shade her from the sun, and on it were painted all sorts of pretty flowers. Great, another old woman. You poor little child. That's not an old woman voice, I'll try again. Your poor little child, said the old woman. How did you manage to come to all this distance into a wild world with such a rapid rolling stream? And then the old woman walked into the water, seized the boat with her crutch, drew it to the land, and lifted Gerda out. Gerda was glad to feel herself on dry ground, although she was rather afraid of the strange old woman. Come, tell me who you are, said she, and how came you here? Then Gerda told her everything, while the old woman shook her head and said, Hem? The fuck is a hem? Hem. And when she finished, Gerda asked if she had not seen little Kay, and the woman told her that he had not passed by that way, but he very likely would come. So she told Gerda not to be sorrowful, but to taste the cherries and look at the flowers. They were better than any picture book, for each of them could tell a story. Then she took Gerda by the hand and led her into the little house, and the old woman closed the door. The windows were very high, and the panes were blue, red, and yellow. The daylight shone through them in all sorts of singular colors. On the table stood beautiful cherries, and Gerda had permission to eat as many as she would. As she was eating them, the old woman combed out her long flaxen ringlets with a golden comb, and the glossy curls hung down on each side of the little round pleasant face, which looked fresh and blooming as a rose. I have long been wishing for a dear little maiden like you, said the old woman, and now you must stay with me, and see happily we shall live together. And while she kept on combing little Gerda's hair, she thought less and less about her adopted brother Kay, for the old one could conjure. Although she was not a wicked witch, she only conjured a little for her amusement. And now, because she wanted to keep Gerda, therefore she went into the garden, stretched her crutch towards to all the rose trees, beautiful though they were, and they immediately sunk to the dark earth, so that no one could tell where they had once stood. The old woman was afraid if that little Gerda saw the roses, she would think of those at home, and even remember little Kay and run away. Damn, this old woman wants Gerda. Okay, gotcha. First Kay was taken by the Snow Queen, now this woman wants Gerda. Okay then, I guess one and the other. Then she took Gerda into the flower garden. Oh, how fragrant and beautiful it was! Every flower could be thought for every season of the year was here in bloom. No picture book could have more beautiful colors. Gerda jumped for joy and played till the sun went down behind the tall cherry trees. Then she slept in an elegant bed with red silk pillows, embroidered with color violets, and dreamed as pleasantly as a queen on her wedding day. Next day, and for many days after, Gerda played with the flowers in the warm sunshine. She knew every flower, and yet, although there were so many of them, it seemed as if one were missing. But which it was, she could not tell. One day, however, she sat looking at the old woman's hat with painted flowers on it. She saw the prettiest of them all,
was a rose. The old woman had forgot to take it from her hat when she made all the roses sink into the earth. But it is difficult to keep the thoughts together in everything. One little mistake upsets all our arrangements.
What? There are no roses here?
Cried Gerda, and she ran out into the garden and examined all the beds, and searched and searched. There was not one to be found. She sat down and wept, and all her tears fell in one place where one of the rose trees had sunk down. The warm tears moistened the earth, and the rose tree sprouted up once more, as blooming as when it had sunk. Gerda embraced and kissed the roses, and thought of the beautiful roses at home, and then, with them, of little Kay. Okay, now where was I?
Oh, how I have been detained!
Said the little maiden.
I wanted to seek little Kay. Do you know where he is?
She asked the roses.
Do you think she's dead? He's dead?
The roses answered,
No, he's not dead. We have been in the ground where all the dead lie, but Kay is not in there. Thank you,
said little Gerda. And then she went to the other flowers, looked into the little cups and asked,
Do you know where little Kay is?
But each flower, as it stood in the sunshine, dreamed only of its own fairy tale of history. No, not one knew anything of Kay. Gerda heard many stories from flowers. She asked them one after the other about him.
And what?
Said the tiger lily.
Hark! Do you hear the drum? Turn, turn. There are only two notes. Always turn, turn.
Am I saying the right? Okay. The tiger lily. Okay.
Listen to the women's song of mourning. Hear the cry of the priest. In her long red robe stands the
no.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
What the fuck do you pronounce it?
Windowed by the funeral pyre. The flames rise around her as she places herself on the dead body of her husband. But the woman is thinking of the living one that circle of him, her son, who lighted those flames. Those shining eyes trouble her heart more painfully than the flames which will soon consume her body to ashes. Can the fire in her heart be extinguished in the flames of the funeral pyre? I don't understand that at all,
said little Gerda.
That's my story,
said the tiger lily. Wait. So it's another flower? Oh my god, it's another flower. What? Says the convolvulus. Near yonder narrow road stands the old knight's castle. Thick ivy creeps over the old ruined walls. Leaf over leaf, even balcony to balcony, in which stands a beautiful maiden. She bends over the balustrades and looks up on the road. No rose on its stem is fresher than she. No apple blossom, crafted by the wind, floats more lightly than she moves. Her thick, rich silks rustles as she bends over and exclaims, Will he not come?
Is it Kay you mean?
Asked Gerda. I'm only speaking of a story in my dream, replied the flower. Jeez, there's so many flowers talking. Oh my god, I have to give one. Okay.
What?
Said the little snowdrop.
Between the two wolves.
Oh, fine. Oh, what voice it is?
Between the two wolves, the two trees, a rope is swinging. There is a piece of board upon it. It is a swing. Two pretty little...
Wait. Just jumping one voice to another. Sandali. Jumping one different voice to another. Wait.
Two pretty girls, in dresses as white as snow, with long green ribbons fluttering from their hats, are sitting upon it and swinging. Their brother, who is taller than they are, stands by the swing, and he has one arm around the rope to steady himself. In one hand, he holds a little bow, and in the other, a clay pipe. He is blowing the bubbles. As the swing goes on, the bubbles fly upward, reflecting the most beautiful vowing colors. Till the wax still stands from the blow of the pipe and sways in the wind.
Where is it?
ungrooves the swing, and then a little black dog comes running up. He was almost as white as a bubble, and he raises himself on his winged legs and wants him to be taken into the swing, but he does not stop. The dog falls, and then he barks and grits angry. The children stoop towards him, and the bubble bursts. A swinging plank, a white sparkling foam picture. That is my story.
Good lord! Oh my god, there's another flower! Shit!
It may be all that it may all be very pretty in what you're telling me,
Said little Gerda.
but you speak so mournfully, and you do not mention little K at all.
What do the hyacinths say? Wait, hyacinth. The Greek guy, hyacinth. Is it hyacinthus from Greek, right? Hyacinth ba? Oh my god, so many flowers. Shit, there's another flower. Oh my god, okay. Wait. Oh my god, wait. Oh shit. Okay. There were.
Gee, it was sisters. There, and drink it.
The dress of one was red, the second was blue, the third pure white. Hand in hand, they danced in the bright moonlight by the calm lake. But they were human beings, not fairy elves. Their sweet fragrance attracted them and they disappeared in the wood. Here, their fragrance became stronger. Three coffins in which lay the three beautiful maidens. Glided from the thickest part of the forest across the lake. Fireflies flew lightly above them like little flowing torches. Do the dancing maidens sleep or are they dead? The scent of the flowers says that they are corpses. The evening bells toll their kneel.
You make me quite sorrowful,
Said little Gerda.
Your perfume is quite so strong. You make me think of the dead maidens. Ah! Is Kay really dead then? The roses have been unearthed and they say no.
Okay, hyacinth. Oh wait. Cling clang. So the hyacinth bells. We are not tolling for little Kay. We do not know him. We sing our song, the only one we knew. Oh my god. Then Gerda went to the buttercups that were glittering amongst the bright green leaves.
Your little bright sons, said Gerda. Tell me if you know where I can find my playfellow.
Oh god, the buttercups are gonna talk now. Oh my god. How long is... Oh shit, there's like more flowers. the third part, the third part of the story is just me thinking of new voices. Wait. The buttercups. What? I could do another nasal voice, I guess. Another nasal voice would do. Oh my god, I can't do I did a robotic, but... Okay, robotic. We'll go robotic. And the buttercup sparkled gaily and looked again at Gerda. What song could the buttercup sing? It was not about Kay. Okay, robot voice. Come on, robot voice, come on.
The bright warm sun shone on the little court.
Oh my god, this is so... Okay.
The bright warm sun shone on the little court on the first warm day of spring. His bright beams rested on white walls of the neighboring house, and close by bloomed the first yellow flower of the season, glittering like gold in the sun's warm ray. An old woman sat in her armchair at the house door. Her granddaughter, a poor and pretty servant maid, only came here for a short visit. And when she kissed her grandmother, there was gold everywhere. The gold in her heart, that holy kiss. It was a golden morning. There was gold in the beaming sunlight, gold in the leaves of the lowly flower, and on the lips of the maiden. There, that is my story,
said the buttercup. And there, is this the last flower? Please. This has to be the last flower, right?
Oh my poor old grandmother," said Gerda. "She is longing to see me, grieving for me as she did for little Kay. I shall soon go home now and take little Kay with me. It's no use asking the flowers. They only know their own songs and give me no information." And then she tucked up and then she tucked up her little dress that she might run faster, but the narcissus caught her by the leg. She was jumping over it. She stopped and looked at the tall flower and said, "Perhaps you may know something?" She stooped down quite close to the flower and listened. What did he say? Okay, so it's Narcissus. I can see myself. I can see myself, said the Narcissus. "Oh, how sweet is my perfume! Up in the little room with a boy with a bow window stands a little dancing girl, half undressed. She sometimes stands on one leg, and sometimes on both, and look as if she would tread the whole world under her feet. She is nothing but a delusion. She is pouring water on a teapot on a piece of stuff which she holds in her hand. It's her bodai. What the fuck is a bodais? Bodis? Bodais? Cleanliness is a good thing," she says. Her white dress hangs on a peg. It has also been washed in the teapot and dried on the roof. She puts it on. There's a saffron-colored handkerchief around her neck, which makes her dress look whiter. See how she stretches out her legs as she was showing off a stem. I can see myself. No shit, that's a narcissus plant. Oh my god. What do I care for all that? Said Gerda. You need not to tell me such stuff. And then she ran to the other end of the garden, where the door was fastened. She pressed against the rusty hatch and gave it away. The door sprang open, and little Gerda ran out with bare feet into the wide world. She looked back 3 times, but no one seemed to be following her. At last, she could run no longer. Run no longer. And so she sat down to rest on a great stone. When she looked around, she saw that summer was over and autumn very far advanced. She had known nothing of this in the beautiful garden, where the sun shone and the flowers grew all the year around. Oh, how much I wasted my time, said little Gerda. It is autumn. I must not rest any longer. And she rose up to go on, but her little feet were wounded and sore, and everything around her looked so cold and bleak. The long willow leaves were quite yellow. The dewdrops fell like water. Leaf after leaf dropped from the trees, and the sloe thorn alone still bore fruit. But the sloes were sour and set the teeth on edge. Oh, how dark and weary the world appeared. God, that's the end of the flower garden of the woman who could conjure. I had made so many voices for that. Oh my god. Well, that's so... Okay, that reminded me that one part in Alice in Wonderland, the movie, tawag doon? Oh my god. Oh, Nepo! Welcome, Nepo! Thank you for the raid! Hi, everyone! Welcome to the stream! My name is Velparia Dantalion. I'm the one of the hidden world. I stream various of games, and horror is my favorite. But right now, we're streaming, or we're actually talking about Hans Christian Andersen stories. But right now, we're actually the 4th part of the Snow Queen. Hi, let me give you a shout out. Shout out. Oh my god. I have VA skills. Oh, thank you, Sim. Thank you. Thank you so much. What? Oh, you last streamed Devil May Cry? Is that last? Oh, nice. But yeah, oh my god. Thank you. I tried to give... Since there were like so many flowers that came up, I really tried to like give more voices, like so many voices than my normal one.
Oh, you stream Pokemon? Okay. I thought you streamed it with me. You put it update. Wait, what? But yeah, thank you Nepu for the tawag dun? For the stream. Ay, thank you for the raid! Ah, puta! Thank you for the raid. Last page should have been Violet. Weird. Oh, okay. Hope you had a fun one. Have a fun playing Pokemon. And for those everyone, I hope you really don't mind my VA skills. I'm trying my best with my with my wonderful, totally not horrible voice acting. The flower garden felt like sort of filler. It's like the filler feels like a filler though. It feels like it. Kinda like the entire thing is a filler. Like I don't know, it just felt like one. And how long did Gerda spent her time in the flower garden? Since an entire season is a year, right? So Kay has been missing for like what, 2 years? A year or two already? No shit, everyone would think he's dead. No fucking shit. Everyone would think he's dead by then. Oh my god. But now, we're gonna be going to the 4th story of the Ice Queen. Oh my gosh. 4th, which is... Wait, let me just type it down. The 4th story, which is 6, 7... Wait. Let me just fix the list. 6, 7... The Prince and the Princess. The Prince and the... Princess. This is like the most stories I probably read in one stream. Oh my god. Okay. Let me just fix my stuff before I continue on. Now, where is that freaking... There. Okay, so 5th, 6th, and 7th. Okay. So that's like... We're already halfway through the Snow Queen. Yeah, we're halfway through the Snow Queen. Let's see, just push this. Okay. The 4th story. The Prince and the Princess. Gerda was obligated... Wait, my narrator voice. Sorry, managing so many voices kind of makes me confused which voice is which. I hope you don't mind yet. I hope. Oh my god. The 4th story. The Prince and the Princess. Gerda was obligated to rest again, just opposite the place where she sat. She saw a great crow come hopping across the snow towards her. He stood looking at her for some time, then wagged his head and said, "Caw, caw, good day." He pronounced the word as plainly as he could, because he meant to be kind to the little girl, and then asked her where she was going all along the wild world. The word alone, Gerda understood very well and knew how much it expressed. So then she told the crow the whole story of her life and adventures and asked him if he had seen little Kay. The crow nodded his head very gravely and said, "Perhaps I have. And maybe." "No! Do you think you have?" cried little Gerda. She kissed the crow and She kissed the crow and hugged him almost to death with joy. Gently, said the crow. I believe I know. I think it may be little Kay, but he has certainly forgotten you by this time for the princess. Princess? Does he live with the princess? Asked Gerda. Yes, listen, replied the crow. But is it so difficult to speak your language? If you understand the crow's language, then I can explain better. Do you? No, I have never learned it, said Gerda. But my grandmother understands it and used to speak it to me. I wish I had learned it. It doesn't matter, answered the crow. I will explain as well as I can, although it will be badly done. And when he told her what he had heard, "His kingdom where we now are," said he, "there lives a princess who is wonderfully clever. She has read all the newspapers in the world and forgotten them too, although she is so clever. And a short time ago, she was sitting on her throne."
People say it's not just an agreeable seat as it's often supposed. And she sing the song commences these words.
I don't... let's see. This is a princess.
Why should I not be married?
Why not indeed? Said she. And so she determined to marry if she could find a husband who knew what to say when he's spoken to, and not one who could only look grand, for that was so tiresome. She assembled all her court ladies together at the beat of the drum, and when they heard her intentions, they were very much pleased. "We are so glad to hear it," said they. "We were talking about it ourselves the other day. You may believe every word I tell you is..." Wait, that was a crow.
You may believe every word I tell you is true,
said the crow.
For I have that famous sweetheart who goes freely about the palace. She told me all of this.
Of course his sweetheart was a crow, for birds of a feather flock together, and one crow always chooses another crow. Oh dear lord, it's a big paragraph. Wait! Okay, this is a crow.
Newspapers were published immediately with a border of hearts and the nation of the princess among them. He gave notice that every young man who had handsome was free to visit the castle and speak with the princess, and those who could reply loud enough to be heard when spoken to. For they make themselves quite home at the palace, but the one who spoke the best would be chosen as the husband for the princess. Yes, you may believe me. It's all true as I sit here,
said the crow.
The people came in crowds. It was a big deal of crushing and running about, but no one succeeded either on the first or second day. They could all speak very well while they were outside the streets. But when they entered the palace gates, the guards in silver uniforms and the footmen in their golden livery on the staircases and the great halls light up, and they became confused. And when they stood before the throne which the princess sat, they could do nothing but repeat the last words she said. She had no particular wish to hear her own words again, as it was just as if they had taken something to make them sleepy while they were in the palace. Or did not recover themselves or speak till until they got back again to the street. There was quite a long line of them reaching the down gate of the palace. I went myself to see them, said the crow. They were hungry and thirsty, for the palace did not give even a glass of water. Some of the wives had taken a few slices of bread and butter with them, but they did not share it with the neighbors, as if they thought they went in They did not share it with their neighbors. They thought if they went into the princess looking hungry, there would be a better chance for themselves. But Kay! Tell me about it, okay? Said Gerda. Was he amongst the crowd? Stop a bit. You were coming to him. On the third day, he came marching cheerfully on the palace little personage, without horses or carriage. His eyes sparkling like yours. He had beautiful long hair, and his clothes were very poor. That was Kay! Gerda said joyfully. Oh, I have found him! She clapped her hands. He had a little knapsack on his back, added the crow. No, it must have been his sledge, said Gerda, or he went away with it. It may have been so, said the crow. I didn't look at it very closely, but I know from my tame sweetheart that he passed through the palace gates and saw the guards in their silver uniform and the servants in their lines of golden stairs. But he was not in the least embarrassed. Wait, it was Kay. It must be very tiresome to stand on the stairs, he said. I prefer to go in. The rooms were blazing with light. Councilors and ambassadors walked about with bare feet and carrying golden vessels. It was enough to make anyone feel serious. His boots creaked loudly as he walked, and yet he was all not uneasy. It must be Kay, said Gerda. I know he had new boots on. I've heard them creak in grandmother's room. Holy shit. Okay. Where the fuck am I? Oh my god. They did really creak, said the crow. Yet he went boldly up to the princess herself, who was sitting on a pearl as large as a spinning wheel, where all the ladies of the court were present with their maids, and all the cavaliers with their servants. And each of the maids had another maid wait upon her. The cavalier servants had their own servants, as well as a page each. They all stood in circles around the princess, and looked nearer stood to the door. The prouder they looked, the nearer they stood at the door, the prouder they looked. The servants' pages, who always wore slippers, could hardly be looked at, and they held themselves up so proudly by the door. It must be quite awful, said little Gerda. But did Kay win the princess? If I had not been a crow, said he, I would marry her myself. Even though I am engaged, he spoke just as well as I do. When I speak crow's language, so I heard from my tame sweetheart. He was quite free and agreeable and said he had not come to woo the princess, but to hear her wisdom. And he was pleased with her as with him. Ahem. Oh, certainly, that was Kay, said Gerda. He was so clever, he could work mental arithmetic and fractions. Oh, will you take me to the palace? It is very to ask that, replied the crow. But how are we to manage it? However, I will speak about it to my tame sweetheart and ask her for advice. And for I must tell you, it will be very difficult to gain permission for a little girl like you to enter the palace. Oh yes, but I shall gain permission easily, said Gerda. For when Kay hears that I am here, he will come out and fetch me immediately. Wait for me here by the palings, said the crow, wagging his head as he flew away. It was late in the evening before the crow returned. Caw, he said. He sends you a greeting, and here's a little roll which she took from the kitchen for you. There's plenty of bread there, and she thinks you must be hungry. It's not possible if you enter the path by the front entrance. A guard in silver uniform and the servant's gold livery will not allow it. But do not cry, we will manage to get you in. A little sweetheart knows a little back staircase that leads to the sleeping apartments. She knows where to find the key. Damn, this little girl, Gerda, is a... Damn, she can talk to flowers, to crows. Oh, hey, and then the river pa, damn. And they went to the garden, through the great avenue, where the leaves were falling one after the other, and they could see the light in the palace being put out in the same manner. And the crow led little Gerda to the back door, which stood ajar. Oh, how little Gerda's heart beat with anxiety and longing. It was just as if she was going to do something wrong, yet she only wanted to know where little Kay was. It must be, she thought. Those clear eyes, with that long hair, she saw him smiling at her as she used to at home. And when they sat among the roses, he would certainly be glad to see her, and to hear her what a long distance she had come for his sake, and to know how sorry they have been at home because he did not come back. Oh, what joy yet fear she felt. They were now on the stairs. In the small closet, at the top of the lamp was burning. In the middle of the floor stood the tame crow, turning her head from the side to side, gazing at Gerda, who curtsied as her grandmother had taught her to. Where the oh my gosh, where? I lost the sentence. Okay. I bet Trotted has spoke very highly of you, my little lady, said that same crow. Your life history, Ita, as you may be called, very touching. If you take the lamp, I will walk before you. We'll go straight along this way. Then we shall meet no one. It seems to me as if somebody were behind us, said Gerda, as rushed her by her like a shadow on the wall. Then horses with flying manes and thin legs, hunters, ladies and gentlemen on horseback, glided by her like shadows on the wall. They're only dreams, said the crow. They're coming to fetch the thoughts of the great people out hunting. All the better, for we shall be able to look at them in their beds for more safely. I hope that when you rise to honor and favor, you will show a grateful heart. You may be quite sure of that, said the crow from the forest. Then they now came to the first hall, walls of which were hung with rose-colored satin, embroidered with artificial flowers. Here, dreams again filtered by them, but so quickly that Gerda could not distinguish the royal persons. Each hall appeared more splendid than the last. It was enough to bewilder anyone. At length they reached the bedroom. The ceiling was like a great palm tree, with glass leaves of the most costly crystal, and over the center of the floor, 2 beds, each resembling a lily, hung from a stem of gold. One in each the princess lay was white, the other was red. And in this, Gerda had to seek for little Kay. She pushed one of the red leaves aside and saw a little brown neck. Oh, that must be Kay. She called his name quite aloud.
and held the lamp over him. The dreams rushed back in the room, and on the horseback, he woke and turned his head around. It was not little Kay. The prince was all like him in the neck. He was still young and pretty. Then the princess peeped out of her white lily bed and asked what's the matter. Then little Gerda wept and told her story, and all the crows had done to help her. You poor little... wait, no, it's a prince. You poor little child, said the prince and princess until they praised the crows. They said they were not angry for what they had done, but that it must not happen again, and this time they should be rewarded. Would you like to have your freedom? Asked the princess. Or would you prefer to be raised in the position of the court crows, with all that's left in the kitchen for yourselves? Then the crows bowed and begged to have a fixed appointment, for they thought of their old age and said it would be comfortable to feel that they had provision for their old days, as they called it. And then the prince got out of his bed and gave it up to Gerda. He could do more, but no more, and she lay down. She folded her little hands and thought, how good everyone is to me, men and animals too. Then she closed her eyes and went to a sweet sleep. All dreams came flying back again to her. They looked like angels, and one of them drew a little sledge, on which sat Kay, and nodded to her. But this is also only a dream, and vanished as she soon awoke. The following day, she was dressed from head to foot in silk and velvet. They invited her to stay at the palace for a few days and enjoy herself, but she begged only for a pair of boots, a little carriage, and a horse to draw on it, so that she might go to wide world to seek for Kay. And she obtained not only boots, but also a muff. She was neatly dressed, and she was ready to go. There, at the door, she found a coach made of pure gold, and with the coat of arms of the prince and princess shining upon it like a star. And the coachman, footmen, and outriders were already wearing golden crowns on their heads. The prince and princess themselves helped her into the coach and wished her success. The forest crow, who was now married, accompanied her for the first 3 miles. He sat by Gerda's side and couldn't bear riding backwards. The tame crow stood in the doorway flapping her wings. She could not go with them because she had been suffering from a headache ever since the new appointment, no doubt from eating much. The coach was well appointed with sweet cakes, and others the seat were fruit and gingerbread nuts. Farewell, farewell, cried the prince and princess, and little Gerda wept, and the crow wept. And then, after a few miles, the crow also said farewell. And this was the saddest parting. However, he flew to a tree and stood flapping his black wings as long he could see the coach, which glittered into the bright sunshine. And that's the end for the 5th story. It's okay. We're getting there. It's like, I feel bad for Gerda. The girl has to travel from point A to point B to point C to point D. Gerda needs to get Kay back. Dang it. My girl. My child needs to get back. Needs to get her friend back. You need a friendship. You know they need to be together again. Just why? They need to be back together as friends. Damn it! Why did the ice queen took Kay again? Because of the sled, right? But why? There has to be a reason for it. Like a good darn reason for it. My God. But now we'll be starting the 5th story ba to? This is a 5th story. Yeah, the 5th story. Little Rubber Girl. Little what now? Okay, Little Rubber Girl, I guess. Let me just add this. 7, 8. Little Rubber Girl. What do you mean he predict? I forget. Oh no. What do you mean I'm wrong? No. I may be small, I may be short, but I'm not a robber. I'm a warden. Do I look like a person that would, rob? You mean, all those times in We Happy Few, I told you, those were borrowing. Don't make me pull out the We Happy Few clips. It's a borrow. We were just borrowing. We're borrowing, just borrowing the items. That's all. We're not stealing. It's stealing if they got mad. And I don't think any one of them got mad before. I really don't think so. I'm pretty sure they don't, they're just fine. They were fine. They're just like, oh, hello. Just that. The ones who got mad got smashed. They were just, I had to... It was a big misunderstanding. What do you mean, copy? It was just a big misunderstanding. A big misunderstanding. A big misunderstanding. A really big misunderstanding. No. You got it all wrong. We're just borrowing stuff, and they were shocked because you were borrowing. Here, have some more. That's why they were shocked. And they got aggroed because they think maybe you need more training. Let's fight you or something like that. See, I didn't grab anyone. We're fine, totally fine. We're just totes fine, right? No one's stealing. And I'm not copying. That is the truth. I am simply borrowing. Okay, we are actually cope emote. Sige. I will try to get a cope emote. I'll try to get my I will get my my mama. I will get my mama to make me art. I will get my VTuber mama to get me a copium emote. Hopefully they won't mind it. Hopefully they won't mind. I mean, to be fair, I got a lot of emotes. But not that I mind. Maybe I'll try to get them. I'll try to talk to them about it. The copium, because I may cope sometimes in games, but not We Happy Few. Those were just borrowing. Borrowing, just borrow. They're all borrowed, that's all. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh, the 5th story isn't that long? Whatever I say. What do you mean, whatever I say? That is the truth, is it not? Is that not this truth? Excusez-moi. Let me just drink a bit of tawag dun, water. Yeah, we just drink a bit of water right now. There we go. Okay, got myself some good old water. Wait, let me just drink again. This storytelling, these streams do be making me thirsty. Okay, Little Rubber Girl. We were actually able to finish the entire Snow Queen. Oh shit, I will be able to finish the entire Snow Queen. Okay. The Little Rubber Girl. Wait, I'll just take a short bathroom break. Let me just take a short break muna. Short bathroom break. I'll be right back.
ito. I'm back, oh.
Now, we'll start off with Little Rubber Girl.
Welcome back. Yeah, I'm back. Thank you.
Little Rubber Girl. I wonder why is it called Little Rubber Girl though? Kinda questionable to say the least, but without further ado, let's start. The coach drove through the thick forest, where it lightened up the way with a torch. The dazzled eyes of some robbers who could not bear it to let them. I see why I'm starting to see why it's called Little Rubber Girl. The dazzled eyes of some robbers who could not bear to let it pass without. Blah 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 blah. Wait. Then the dazzled eyes of some robbers who could not bear to let it pass them. I don't think I should say this word. This is not exactly unnoticed. I changed the word. What's the synonym of this word? I don't like this word. Is there like a synonym for this? Synonym? Fuck. How do I? The word here is questionable to say the least, but I don't like saying it. Okay. Who could not bear to let it pass them secured? It's gold! It's gold! Cried they, rushing forward, seizing the horses. They struck the little jockeys, the coachman and the footman dead, and pulled little Gerda out of the carriage. She's fat and pretty, and she's been fed with kernels of nuts, said the old robber woman, who had long beard and eyebrows that hung over her eyes. She's as good as the little lamb. How nice she will taste! And as she said this, she drew forth a shining knife and glittered horribly. Oh! Screamed the old woman, for the same moment her own daughter, who held her back, had bitten her in the ear. She was a wild and naughty girl, and the mother called her an ugly thing, and had not time to kill Gerda. She shall play with me, said the little robber girl. She shall give me her muff and her pretty dress, and sleep me in my bed. And then she bit her mother again, and made her spring in the air and jump about. All the robbers laughed and said, see how she's dancing with her little cub. Okay, Gerda was supposed to be murdered until... Okay then. I will have the ride in the coach, said the little robber girl. She would have her own way, for she was so self-willed and obstinate. She and Gerda seated themselves in the coach and drove away, over stumps and stones, into the depths of the forest. The little robber girl was the same size as Gerda, but stronger. She had broader muscles and darker skin. Her eyes were quite black, and she had a mournful look. She clasped little Gerda around the waist and said, they shall not kill you as long as you don't make us vex with you. I suppose you're a princess? No, said Gerda. And then she told her all her history and how fond she was of little Kay. The robber girl looked earnestly at her and nodded her head slightly and said, they shan't kill you. Even if I do get angry with you, I will do it myself. And then she wiped Gerda's eyes and struck her own hands in the beautiful muff. Which was so soft and warm. The coach stopped in the courtyard of the robber's castle, the walls of which were cracked from top to bottom. Ravens and crows flew in and out of the holes and crevices, while great bulldogs, either of which looked as if it could swallow a man, were jumping about, but they were not allowed to bark. In a large smoking hall, a bright fire was burning on the stone floor. There was no chimney, so the smoke went up to the ceiling and found a way out for itself. Soup was boiling in a large cauldron, when hares and rabbits were roasting on the spit. God damn it, they're cooking animals now. You shall sleep with me and all my animals tonight, said the robber girl, after they had something to eat and drink. She took Gerda to a corner of the hall, where some straws and carpets were laid down. Above them, and lads and perches, were more than 100 pigeons, who all seemed to be asleep, although they moved slightly when two little girls... Hi, Chi!
Welcome, raiders! Welcome to the raid! Hello, my name is Velparia Dantayon, Warden of the Hidden World. I stream a various of games, but horror being my favorite. Today, we are reading Hans Christian Andersen's stories. We're actually the 5th part of the Snow Queen. Like me, thank you, Chi, for the raid. Let me give you a shout out. There. I gave you a shout out. Thank you. Oh, let's just sit comfortably by the fire and listen to the story. I'm just actually mid-sentence when you raided me. Where is that story? Hey, 5 stages of pink. Nice. Nice. Nice one. Hope you had fun though. Where the hell am I? Oh my god, where am I? Okay. Above them, on lads and perches, were more hunted pigeons, who all seemed to be asleep. You were very confused. I guess that's the plot, probably. The plot so far. Time to unwind with you. Oh, thank you! Yeah, just chill, unwind. Chill and unwind with the storytelling session. No worries. Annoyingly confused. What happened, to be exact? What happened? Who all seemed to be asleep, although they moved slightly when 2 little girls came near them. These belong to me, said the robber girl. She seized the nearest to her and held it by the feet and shook it till it flapped its wings. Kiss it! Cried she, flapping it in Gerda's face. There sit the wood pigeons, continued she, pointing to a number of flats in a cage which had been fixed up into the walls, near to one of the openings. Both rascals would fly away directly, as if were not closely locked up. There's my old sweetheart Ba. And she dragged out a reindeer by the oh my god, this robber girl is brutal. Oh my god. Oh, weird, don't worry. Okay. I bet it's let's see, where the fuck am I? She dragged out the reindeer by the horn. He wore a bright copper ring around his neck and was tied up. We're obligated to hold him tight too, or else he would run away from us. Also, I tickle his neck every evening with my sharp knife, which frightens him very much. Jeez, okay, this robber girl is not playing around. Then the robber girl drew a long knife from a chunk in the wall and let it slide gently over the reindeer's neck. The poor animal began to kick, and the little robber girl laughed and pulled down Gerda into bed with her. Will you have that knife with you while you are asleep? Asked Gerda, looking at it in fright. I always sleep with a knife with me, said the robber girl. No one knows what may happen, but now tell me again about little Kay and why you went out into the world. Then, Gerda repeated her story all over again, while the wood pigeons in the cage over her cooed, and the other pigeons slept. The little robber girl put one arm across Gerda's neck and held the knife into another. I'm sorry, what? And was soon fast asleep and snoring, but Gerda could not close her eyes at all. She knew not whether she was to live or die. The robbers sat around the fire, singing and drinking, and the old woman stumbled about. It was a terrible sight for the little girl to witness. Then, the wood pigeon said, Coo, we have seen little Kay. A white fowl carried his sledge, and he sat in the cage of the Snow Queen, which drove through the wood while we were laying in our nest. She blew upon us, and all the young ones died except us two. Coo! That's my pigeon voice attempt of a pigeon voice. What are you saying up there? Cried Gerda. Where was the Snow Queen going? Do you know anything about it? She was most likely to travel to Lapland, where it was always snow and ice. Ask the reindeer that's fastened up there with a rope. Sven! It's Sven! Shit, it's Sven! Wait, okay, how do I voice the reindeer? Yes, there's always snow and ice, said the reindeer, and it's a glorious place. You can leap freely and run about. You can leap and run freely on the sparkling ice plains. The Snow Queen has her summer tent there, but her strong castle is at the North Pole on an island called Spitsbergen.
Spitsbergen? Is that how you pronounce it? Spitsbergen. Okay, Spitsbergen.
Okay, little K!
Sighed Gerda.
Stay still,
Said the robber girl.
or I shall run my knife into your body.
In the morning, Gerda told her all the wood pigeons had said, and the little robber girl looked quite serious and nodded her head and said,
That is all talk. That is all talk. Do you know where Lapland is?
She asked the reindeer. Who should know better than I do? Said the animal while his eyes sparkled. I was born there. I was born and brought up there. I used to run in about the snow-covered plains.
Now listen,
Said the robber girl.
all our men are gone away. Only Mother is here, and she will stay. But at noon, she always drinks out a great bottle, and afterwards she sleeps for a while. And then I'll do something for you.
Then she jumped out of bed, clasped her mother around the neck, and pulled her by the beard, crying,
My own little nanny goat. Good morning.
Then her mother flipped her nose till it's quite red, yet she did it all for love. I am very confused on this mother-daughter relationship. When the mother had drunk out of the bottle and was gone to sleep, the little robber maiden went to the reindeer and said,
I should like very much to tickle your neck a few more times with my knife, for it makes you look so funny. But never mind, I will untie your cord and set you free so that you may run away to Lapland. But you must make good use of your legs and carry this away to the castle of Snow Queen where her playfellow is. You have heard what she told me when she spoke loud enough, and you were listening.
And then the reindeer jumped for joy. Then the little robber girl lifted Gerda on his back and had the forethought to tie her on, and even give her a little cushion to sit on.
Here, have your fur boots with you,
Said she,
for it will be very cold, but I must keep them off. It's just so pretty. However, you shall not be frozen for the want of it. Here are my mother's large mittens. You reach up to your elbows. Let me put them on. Now your hands just look like my mother's.
But Gerda wept for joy.
I do not like to see you fret.
Said the little robber girl.
You ought to look quite happy now, and here are 2 loaves and ham so that you need not starve.
These were fastened on the reindeer. Then the little robber maiden opened the door and coaxed all the great dogs and cut the string which the reindeer was fastened. With her sharp knife said,
Now run, but mind you take good care of the little girl.
And then Gerda stretched out her hand with a great mitten on it towards the robber girl and said,
Farewell.
And away flew the reindeer over stumps and stones, through the great forest, over marshes and plains. As quickly as he could, wolves howled, ravens screamed, while up in the sky quivered red lights like flames of fire. These are my old northern lights, said the reindeer. See how they flash. And he ran on day and night, still faster and faster. But all the loaves and ham were all eaten by the time they reached Lapland. I am so confused. Okay, that's the end of the 5th story, Little Robber Girl. I am so confused. I thought the little robber girl wants to kill her, but then no? Which is it? Do you wanna kill her or do you wanna kill Greg? She's a tsundere. Sort of tsundere, but not really. But yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Tsunde, but not really tsunde. That's all. Now with that, oh my god. Oh, we're almost done with the story. Oh, the 6 stories, 1 paragraphs though. Oh shit. Yeah, it's 1 paragraphs. Okay. The 6th story is... The list is getting longer and longer. This is so stupid, but it's fine. 9. The Lapland woman and the Finland woman. What a tight. Oh my god, my damn list is getting long. Damn. Okay, let's see.
Okay. Okay, come on. Big story. Let's go. He stopped at a little hut. It was very mean looking. The roof sloped nearly down to the ground, and the door was so low that the family had to creep on their hands and knees. When they went in and out, there was no one at home but an old Lapland woman who was cooking fish by the light of a train oil lamp. The reindeer told her all about Gerda's story. After having first told his own, which seemed to him the most important, but Gerda was so pinched with the cold she could not speak. "Oh, you poor things," said the Lapland woman. You have a long way to go yet. You must travel more than 100 miles further to Finland. The Snow Queen lives there now. She burns the Bengal nights every evening. I will write a few words on a dried stockfish, for I have no paper. You can take it with me to the Finland woman who lives there. She can give you better information than I can. So, when Gerda was warm and had taken something to eat and drink, the woman wrote a few words on a dried fish and told Gerda to take care of it. And then, she tied her again on a reindeer and he had set off at full speed. Flash, flash, wet the beautiful blue northern lights in the air all night long. And at length, they reached Finland and knocked at the chimney of the Finland woman's hut. For it had no door above the ground. They crept in, but it was so terribly hot inside that the woman wore scarcely any clothes. She was very small and dirty looking. She loosened Gerda's dress and took off the fur boots and mittens, or Gerda would have been unbearable to bear the heat. And then she placed a piece of ice on the reindeer's head and read what was written on the dried fish. After she had read it 3 times, she knew it by heart. She popped the fish into the soup saucepan and knew it was good to eat. She never wasted anything, and the reindeer told his own story first, and then little Gerda's. The Finlander twinkled with her clever eyes but said nothing. "You are so clever," said the reindeer. "I know you can tie all the winds of the world with a piece of twine. If a sailor unties one knot, he has a fair wind, and when he unties a second, it blows hard. But if the third and fourth are loosened, it becomes a storm, which will root up the whole forest. Can you not give this little maiden something to make sure as strong as the 12 men to overcome the Snow Queen?" Power of 12 men? Said the Finland woman. That would be of very little use. But she went to a shelf and took down unrolled a large skin on which were inscribed wonderful characters. She read till the prescription ran down her forehead, but the reindeer begged so hard for little Gerda, and Gerda looked at the Finland woman with such beseeching tearful eyes that her own eyes began to twinkle again. So she drew the reindeer to a corner and whispered to him that she laid a fresh piece of ice on his head. Little Kay is really with the Snow Queen, but he finds everything there so much to his taste and liking that he believes the finest place in the world. But this is because he has a piece of broken glass in his heart, and if his little piece of glass in his eye, this must be taken out, or he will never be a human being again, and the Snow Queen will retain her power over him. But can you not give little Gerda something to help her conquer this power? I can give her no greater than I can give her no greater power than she has already, said the woman. Don't you see how strong that is? How men and animals are obliged to save her, and how well she has got through the world, barefoot as she is. She cannot receive any power from me than she now has, which consists in her purity and innocence of heart. If she can't herself obtain access to the Snow Queen and remove the glass fragments from little Kay, we can do nothing to help her. 2 miles from here, the Snow Queen garden begins. You can carry the little girl so far and set her down by the large bush which stands in the snow, covered with red berries. Do not stay gossiping, but come back here as quickly as you can.
Then, the Finland woman lifted Gerda upon the reindeer and he ran away with her as quickly as she could.
Oh, and I forgot my boots and mittens!
Cried little Gerda. As soon as she felt the cutting cold, but the reindeer dared not to stop. He ran until he reached the bush with red berries. Here, he set Gerda down and he kissed her. And the great bright tears trickled over the animal's cheeks, and then left her and ran back as fast as he could. There stood poor Gerda without shoes, without gloves, in the midst of cold, dreary, icebound Finland. She ran towards as quickly as she could when a whole regiment of snowflakes came around her. They did not, however, fall from the sky, which was clear and glittering with the northern lights. But the snowflakes ran along the ground, and the nearer they came to her, the larger they appeared. Gerda remembered how large and beautiful they looked through the burning glass, but these were really larger and much more terrible, for they were alive. They were the guards of the Snow Queen and had the strangest shapes. Some were like great porcupines.
Oh, thank you, Arashiro, for the hydrate redeem. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That felt great. That felt really great. That felt really, really great. Thank you so much for the hydrate. Okay. Some were like great porcupines, others like twisted serpents with their heads stretching out, and some were like little fat bears with their hair bristled, but all were dazzling white, and all were living snowflakes. Then little Gerda repeated the Lord's Prayer, and the cold was so great that she could see her own breath come out from her mouth like steam as she uttered the words. The steam appeared to increase as she continued her prayer. Till it took shape of the little angels who grew larger the moment they touched the earth. They all wore helmets on their heads and carried spears and shields. Their number continued to increase more and more, and by the time Gerda had finished her prayers, a whole legion stood around her. They thrust their spears into terrible snowflakes, for they had shivered to 100 pieces, and little Gerda can go on forward with courage and safe. The angel stroked her hands and feet so that she felt the cold less, and she hastened on to the Snow Queen's castle. But now, we must say what Kay is doing. In truth, he thought not of little Gerda, and never supposed she could be standing in front of the palace. And that ends the 9th story, or the 6th story. We're gonna meet Kay soon. Oh my god, please save her. How? Kay doesn't... Kay, it's been years since Kay has been missing. How long did the entire journey of Gerda took place? Like, for real though, how long? Oh my god. I know it's a year or two, but it's probably the 3rd year. It's winter already. It was last winter. That's probably 2 winters did Kay disappeared. Finally! Oh my god! We're gonna get a conclusion. Will Kay be saved or will he not? Let's see on the last story of the Snow Queen. The Snow Queen. Number 10. Oh my gosh, this is a long one. Of the Palace of the Snow Queen and what happened there at last. Wow, the list reached the bottom of the screen. Oh my gosh, this is such a long list. Wow, this is a really long list. A really, really long list. And now we're gonna the conclusion of the Snow Queen story. Let's see. It's not that long. Not that long either. Nice. Okay. Oh wait, let me drink water again. Wait lang. Okay. There. The walls of the palace were formed of drifted snow, and the windows and doors of the cutting winds. There were more than 100 rooms in it, all as if they had been formed with snow blown together. The largest of them extended for several miles. They were all lighted up by the vivid light of the aurora, and they were so large and empty, so icy cold and glittering.
There were no amusements here, not even a little bear's ball. When the storm may have been the music, the bears could have danced on their hind legs and shown your good manners. There was no pleasant games of snapdragon or touch, or even a gossip over a tea table, or for the young lady foxes. Empty, vast, and cold were the halls of the Snow Queen. The flickering flame of the northern lights could be plainly seen, whether they rose high or low in the heavens. From every part of the castle, in the midst of its empty, endless halls of snow was a frozen lake, broken on its surface into 1,000 forms. Each piece resembled another, from being in itself perfect as a work of art. And in the center of the lake sat the Snow Queen, and she was at home. She called the lake the Mirror of Reason, and said that it was the best and indeed the only one in the world. Little Kay was quite blue with cold and indeed almost black, but he did not feel it, for the Snow Queen had kissed away the icy shiverings. His heart was already a lump of ice. He dragged some short, flat pieces of ice to and fro and placed them together in all kinds of positions, as if he wished to make something out of them, just as we tried to form various figures with little tabs of wood, which we call a puzzle. Kay's fingers were very artistic. It was important, so it was the icy game of reason at which he played. In his eyes, the figures were very remarkable and of highest importance. This opinion was owing to the piece of glass still sticking in his eye. He composed many complete figures, forming different words, but there was one word he could never manage to form, although he wished it very much. It was the word eternity. The Snow Queen said to him, When you can find out this, you shall be your own master, and I will give you the whole world and a new pair of skates. But he could not accomplish it. Now, I must hasten away to warmer countries, said the Snow Queen. I will go and look into the black craters and of tops of the burning mountains, Etna and Vesuvius. Etna and Vesuvius, as they are called. I shall make them look white, which will be good for them and for the lemons and grapes. And away flew the Snow Queen, leaving little Kay quite alone in the great hall, which was so many miles in length. So he sat and looked at his pieces of ice, and was thinking so deeply, and sat so still, that anyone might have supposed he was frozen. Just at this moment, little Gerda came through the great door of the castle. Cutting winds were raging around her, but she offered up a prayer, and the wings sank down as they were going to sleep. She went until she came to a large empty hall and caught sight of Kay. She knew him directly. She flew to him and threw her arms around his neck and held him fast while she exclaimed, Kay! My dear little Kay! I found you at last! But he sat quite still, stiff and cold. There, little Gerda wept hot tears which fell on his breast, penetrated into his heart, and thawed the lump of ice, and washed away the little piece of glass which had stuck there. Then he looked at her and sang, Roses bloom and cease to be, but we shall the Christ child see. Then Kay burst into tears and he wept so that a splinter of glass swam out of his eye. Then he recognized Gerda and said joyfully, Gerda! My dear little Gerda! Where have you been all this time? And where have I been? And he looked all around him and said, How cold it is, and how large and empty it all looks! He clung to Gerda, and she laughed and wept for joy. It was so pleasing to see them that the pieces of ice even danced about. And when they were tired and went to lie down, they formed themselves into the word that which Snow Queen had said he must find out before he could be his own master and have the whole world and a new pair of skates. Then Gerda kissed his cheeks, and they became blooming. She kissed his eyes. Kiss his eyes? It's painful. It's very painful. and they shone like her own. She kissed his hands and feet, and then he became quite healthy and cheerful. The Snow Queen might come now when she is pleased, for there stood his certainty and freedom in the words she wanted, written in shining letters of ice. Then they took each other by the hand and went forth from the great palace of ice. He spoke of the grandmother and of the roses of the roof. And as they went on, the winds were at rest. The sun burst forth. When they arrived at the bush with red berries, there stood the reindeer waiting for them, and he had brought another reindeer with him, whose others were full. And the children drank her warm milk and kissed her on the mouth. Then he carried Kay and Gerda first to the Finland woman, where they warmed themselves thoroughly in the hot room, and she gave them directions about their journey home. Next, they went to the Lapland woman, who made some new clothes for them and put their sleighs in order. Both the reindeer ran by their side and followed them as far as the boundaries of the country, where the first green leaves were budding. And here, they took leave of the two reindeer and the Lapland woman, and all said farewell. Then, the birds began to twitter. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry. My mind went somewhere else. Okay, I'm sorry. Ahem. Okay. Then the birds began to twitter, and the forest too was full of green young leaves. And out of it came a beautiful horse, which Gerda remembered, for it was the one who had drawn the golden coach. The young girl riding upon it, the shining red cap on her head and pistols on her belt. It was the little robber maiden who got tired of staying at home. She was going first to the north, if that didn't suit her, she meant to try some other part of the world. She knew Gerda directly, and Gerda remembered her. It was a joyful meeting. You see, "You're a fine young lad to go gadding about this way," said she to little Kay. "I would like to know whether you deserve that anyone should go to the end of the world to find you." But Gerda patted her cheek and asked after the prince and princess. "They're gone to the foreign countries," said the robber girl. "And the crow?" asked Gerda. "Oh, the crow is dead." Sorry, the delivery. "Oh, the crow is dead," she replied. "His name's Sweetheart is now a widow, and wears a bit black corset around her leg. She mourns very pitifully, but it's all stuff. Now, tell me how you managed to get him back." Then Gerda and Kay told her all about it. "Snip, snap, sneer! It's all right at last," said the robber girl. Then she took both of her hands and promised that if she would ever pass through the town, she would call and pay them a visit. And then she rode away into the wide world. But Gerda and Kay went hand in hand towards home, and as they advanced, spring appeared more lively with its green verdure and its beautiful flowers. Very soon they recognized the large town where they lived, and all the tall steeples of the churches, in which very sweet bells were ringing a merry peal as they entered it, and found their way to the grandmother's door. They went upstairs to the little room, where all looked just as it used to. The old clock was going tick, tick, and the hands pointed to the time of day. But as they passed through the door into the room, that they perceived that they were both grown up and became man and woman. The roses out on the roof were in full bloom and peeped at the window. And there stood little chairs on which they had sat when children. And Kay and Gracia seated themselves each on their own chair and held each other by the hand, while the cold empty grandeur of the Snow Queen's palace vanished from the memories like a painful dream. The grandmother sat in God's bright sunshine and read aloud from the Bible. Except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter to the kingdom of God. And Kay and Gerda looked into each other's eyes, at once understood the words of the old song. Roses in bloom and cease to be, but we shall the Christ child see. And they both sat there, grown up, yet children at heart. And it was summer. warm, beautiful summer. And that's the end of the Snow Queen. Let me just fix the list. Oh my gosh, the Snow Queen. 4 to 10. There. That's the end of the Snow Queen. Oh my gosh, that's a very long story to say the least. Just remove this. There we go. Wow! Damn, that 10 stories in one stream. Holy sh! That's a lot of stories, and I like the Snow Queen. But so far, I think the Child in the Grave is still my top, my favorite. The Child in the Grave is still my favorite though. But at least I'm happy I got to finish Snow Queen. I've been like curious where the inspiration of Frozen came from, which is this one, and I can really see what parts did Frozen took, like, you know, inspiration from, like, you know, the Snow Queen thought of a frozen heart, all that jazz. They took it literally and then it didn't made it like how do you say it, evil stuff. Like, I haven't watched Frozen 2, so I really don't know what happened in Frozen 2 or how did Elsa got her ice powers at all. So yeah, I'm lost in the dark if it's Frozen 2, but Frozen, I can see it. The frozen ice, and then they went to the ice castle. Oh, I have I think the character there in Frozen was named Marshmallow, the guard in the castle. I can see I remember the Marshmallow had porcupine spikes behind him, just like in the story when there were guards and all. I know the lumps of ice were like guards in the Snow Queen's castle. I think Marshmallow was inspired from there. Can't say the least. But I know. And then when Elsa cried and then it thawed Anna's heart. I think it happened here, like with Gerda with Kay. I can see it. I see it. I like the story. I like it. So it feels like a really adventuring story overall. And I hope everyone is doing well after the story, because I have one last story to read, and it's actually one of my favorite stories by Hans Christian Andersen. Wait, where is it? Yeah, it's my favorite stories by Hans Christian Andersen. It's a very short story, but you will know what's my favorite story the moment I type it down. This is gonna be the last story of this stream. I always leave my favorite stories at last, so here it is. 11. The Little Match Seller, or most commonly known as the Little Match Girl. If you know what the story is, then there. If you know the story, you know. But for those who don't, this is my favorite. Again, I have to repeat, my favorite story from Hans Christian Andersen. And apparently, there's a Vocaloid song. I listen to Vocaloid kasi. There's a Vocaloid song based on the Little Match Girl or the Little Match Seller. I think it's called The Flames of Yellow Phosphorus. I think, yeah, the Flames of Yellow How do you spell phosphorus? Tama ba? Yeah, The Flames of Yellow Phosphorus. It's a song based on the Little Match Seller or the Little Match Girl. But without further ado, I shall read my favorite story from the man himself, the Little Match Seller. It was a terribly cold and dark on the last evening of the old year, and the snow was falling fast. In the cold darkness, a poor little girl with bare head and naked feet roamed through the streets. It is true she had a pair of slippers when she left home, but they were not much of use. They were very large, so large indeed that they had belonged to her mother. The poor little creature had lost them in running across the street to avoid two carriages that were rolling along at a terrible rate. One of the slippers she could not find, and a boy seized upon the other and ran away with it, saying he could use it as a cradle.
when he had children of his own. So the little girl went on her little naked feet, which were quite red and blue with the cold. In an old apron, she carried a number of matches and had a bundle of them in her hands. No one had bought anything of her the whole day, nor had anyone given her even a penny. Shivering with cold and hunger, she crept along. Poor little child, she looked a picture of misery. The snowflakes fell on her long, fair hair, which hung in curls off her shoulders, but she regarded them not. The lights were shining from every window, and there was a savory smell of roast goose, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, she remembered that. In a corner, between two houses, one of which projected beyond the other, she sank down and huddled herself together. She had drawn her little feet under her, but she could not keep off the cold. And she dared not to go home, for she had sold no matches and could not take home even a penny of money. Her father would certainly beat her. Besides, it was almost as cold as at home as here, for they had only the roof to cover them, through which the wind howled. Although the largest holes had been stopped up with straws and rags, her little hands were almost frozen with cold. Perhaps burning a match might do some good. If she could draw it from the bundle and strike it against the wall, just to warm her fingers. She drew one out. Scratch! How sputtered as it burnt! It gave a warm, bright light, like a little candle. She held her hand over it. It was a wonderful light. It seemed the little girl was sitting by an iron stove, with polished brass feet and a brass ornament. How the fire burned, and seemed so beautifully warm that the child stretched out her feet as if to warm them, when lo, the flame of the match went out and the stone vanished. She had only the remains of the half-burnt match in her hand. She rubbed another match on the wall. It burst into flame, and where its light fell upon the wall, it became transparent as a veil, and she could see into the room. The table was covered with a snowy white tablecloth, on which stood a splendid dinner service and a steaming roast goose, stuffed with apples and dried plums. And what was still more wonderful? The goose jumped down from the dish and waddled across the floor with a knife and fork in its breast to the little girl. And then the match went out, and there remained nothing but a thick, damp, cold wall before her. She lighted another match, and she found herself sitting under a beautiful Christmas tree. It was larger and more beautifully decorated than the other one she had seen through the glass door at the rich merchant's. Thousands of tapers were burning upon the green branches, and colored pictures, like those she had seen in the show windows, and looked down upon it all. The little one stretched out her hand and towards them, and the match went out. The Christmas lights rose higher and higher, till they looked to her like little stars in the sky. And she saw a star fall, leaving behind a bright streak of fire. Someone is dying, thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only one who had ever loved her, was now dead, and had told her that when a star falls, a soul was going up to God. She again rubbed a match against the wall, and the light shone around her. In the brightness stood her old grandmother, clear and shining, yet mild and loving in her appearance. "Grandmother!" cried the little one. "Oh, take me with you. I know you will go away when the match burns out. You will vanish like the warm stove, the roast goose, the large and glorious Christmas tree." And she made haste to light the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother there. As the matches glowed with a light that was brighter than noonday, her grandmother had never appeared so large and beautiful. She took the little girl in her arms, and they both flew towards in the brightness and joy far above the earth, where there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor pain, for they were with God. In the dawn of the morning, there lay the poor little one,
with pale cheeks and a smiling mouth, leaning against the wall. She had been frozen to death on the evening of the year, and the New Year's sun rose and shone upon the little corpse. The child still sat, in the stiffness of death, holding matches in her hand, one bundle of which was burned. She tried to warm herself. Said some. No one imagined what beautiful things she had seen, nor what glory she had entered with her grandmother on New Year's Day. And that's the end of the little match seller. That's all the stories I could read for this stream. This is actually my favorite story. My favorite story from Hans Christian Andersen. And I don't know, it's just sad, but it's like bittersweet tragedy. I like it. But I don't know, I just feel sad for the girl. That's that. She died, but at least she's happy. Somewhere up there with her grandmother. But you know, this is my last stream for the month of November. Tomorrow on December 1, 4 p.m. What's that? GMT Global. That's GMT meaning. Oh dear. GMT or UTC. What's UTC? UTC meaning. What's UTC? Oh my gosh, what's UTC meaning? Ordered Universal Time, okay. Around tomorrow, 4 p.m., December 1, I'll be revealing my new PNG model for the entire month of December. Thank you everyone for coming by the storytelling stream. I hope with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically, we just read 5 stories. But the Snow Queen is split into 7 segments, so it was a really long one. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to show it to you all my model tomorrow. Spelling hard? Yes, same. I understand that feeling of spelling. But tomorrow will be the start of December. Or tomorrow in my time will be the start of December 1. So it's gonna be like Christmassy feeling soon. But with that, thank you all for coming by. Thank you. We'll be seeing each other next stream next time. So, guys, stick around if you wanna raid. Thank you again for coming by for all the story time. Till next time for the next story time. So, bye!